Craig Nelson about to lead the West Perth ruck in this clash, 2nd against 7th at Perth Oval. A very important game for West Perth, and given the state of the premiership table, an equally as important game for the Royals. East Perth kicking to the left of your screen in this first quarter. Rose being opposed by Nelson at the first bounce down. Baroni is in the centre square for East Perth. Rose winning a decisive knock. The ball running in the direction of Del Barello. It was socketed forward by Maroney. Goes deep down towards right full forward. Reid is off in pursuit of it. Gets control of the ball close to the boundary line and gets it back towards the square. It was good football. But this is Jeps from centre half back, or playing at centre half back. Clears the ball back towards the half back line for West Perth. Chance for Sanzoni, who started in the centre. Gets a good hand pass away to West, who kicks down towards centre wing. Players knocking it onto West Perth's advantage. That was Duckworth, but it comes back through Evans' leg. That was Shane Evans. Landed with Hasler, who has been penalised for holding the ball. The tackle being applied by Slade. Slade at left centre wing for East Perth. Looking towards centre half forward. The ball inside the 50-metre line. Seymour was the target. Knocked down in the direction of Hasler. He didn't have the pace. King has control of it. Knocks it on cleverly to Reid. Reid chipping down towards the forward pocket, and Howlett was a good kick, but Howlett close to the boundary line, not able to control it. And the throw-in will take place at left full forward for East Perth. The West Perth bench as we await this boundary throw-in. Nelson, and from behind Seymour. Gillingham has possession. He was pulled off the hand pass. Reid was helped when he didn't have it. King has it now for East Perth. A high snap towards the goal square. Bartlett from behind. Knocks it straight down to Richardson. Should be the first score of the game. Well smothered by Nelson. Gillingham with a chance to tidy up. And that is the first goal of the game. And it comes from the boot of young Gillingham, a late inclusion this afternoon. And that's Richardson, I think, who went to ground. He's been in trouble in the very early stages of this game. In fact, before the game started, he was struck around the head by a teammate accidentally. But now back on his feet at East Perth, 1 goal straight. West Perth yet to score. Good snap from Gillingham, Barry.
It was a great snap, Wal, and just looking at Richardson there on screen, we said before the game started he'd copped a good one down here with one of his own teammates, and he's still looking a bit shaky now, and we're only 2 minutes into the game.
Chance for West Perth to go forward, but Del Barello went without it. He went back and applied a fairly effective tackle. Thrown out by West Perth, straight to Nelson. He gets it up towards the half-forward line, but East Perth standing strong in defence. Giannakis coming down out of the back pocket, and he's getting a little bit of unnecessary treatment in there.
Well, I think he's really trying to get an extra 50 metres, eh?
Yeah, Higgins was the player on top of him. He swings it out wide where Maroney is stationed, and Eric Maroney takes the mark, the defensive side of centre wing. East Perth going forward again. Jeps up high, getting the ball to the side of the pack. It's taken by Richardson. Richardson is able to negotiate Sanzoni and puts it down towards full forward. A chance down there for Gillingham again. He was the first goal scorer in the game. Gets it back to King. King from about 30 metres. That's a good kick from Sean King against his former club. And East Perth have started in very good fashion. They're 2 goals straight. West Perth have yet to score.
I think it's the way they wanted to get away there. They've started sharply. West Perth, by the way, have put in as well, but East Perth just look a little bit sharper, using the ball well. And there's King on the TV screen there now, who's done a marvellous job since he's come across from West Perth to East Perth, and he'd be liking this, because I think that when you come from another side and you do well, it always gives you a bit of a boost.
So a flying start by the Royals. Nelson winning a decisive ruck knock. Almost chopped off in there by Clappe, and he was eventually taken high, and will get the free kick from centre half back, and now the advantage of a 50-metre penalty. This will take him to the attacking side of the centre square. And East Perth have the opportunity to go forward again. So West Perth so far haven't had the ball beyond their half-forward line. Nelson in the pack. Boot went in rather recklessly. West Perth work it out. And it's now cleared by William across the face of the ground. Taken by Del Barello out further to Sutherland. And Sutherland has the mark at left half back for the Falcons. That's a very dangerous kick, but Nelson, showing superior judgment, took the mark behind Rose. Craig Nelson Down towards the half-forward line. Duckworth is providing the lead. He's actually started at centre-half forward, Duckworth, and he did that very cleverly. With little support, chips it back towards a vacant space, but it went too far for Sanzoni, and the Seacamp comes up to take the relieving mark. He goes straight back into the centre of the ground where Shane Evans is standing. Showed a fair degree of courage going back with the ball there, but East Perth have lost possession. Host gets a raking hand pass out to Sutherland. Sutherland from the half-forward flank puts it towards full forward. That was a well-weighted kick. Seacamp did brilliantly. Cullen has it. Kick well smothered. Chance now for Rose to tidy it up. He gets it to Silcock. Silcock wider still to John Scott. And Scott from the left full-back pocket usually uses the ball well, and he's done that again. King out of Slade. Slade getting possessions early. Puts it to the half-forward line, and a good running mark taken by Howlett. So East Perth solid in defence. And get the ball now to the half-forward line. Bartlett was up at the back. Nelson a chance at ground level. He wasn't able to tie it up. Richardson was in there also. Bartlett has it. Now Gillingham. Gillingham's hand pass was to no one in particular. And Seymour, who appeared to be being held, had obviously infringed first. West Perth are allowed to play on, and Sanzoni takes the mark at centre-half back. Wanted someone going past, and they weren't coming past quickly enough for him. However, West Perth have it now through Hasler. He goes towards half-forward, trying to draw a player. Oops, nearly overdid it. Del Borello has it. West Perth messing around. And that's an awkward kick for your forwards. Very high. Cullen was pushed out, and he's going to get the free kick.
East Perth have certainly been working the ball tremendously hard. They're sort of they're working much harder than West Perth at this stage, but West Perth now have got a chance to put a score on the board.
Cullen, who kicked 6 last week, will shoot from about 35 metres. He is a very, very good kick. This time he may not have had the accuracy he needed. So West Perth get their first score of the game. It's a point. It should have been a goal.
He's another player that was dropped by the Subiaco Footy Club and has come to West Perth and is doing a good job.
A couple of players in that boat out there today. Damien Reid playing for East Perth. Chance now for Silcock to tidy up for the Royals as he gets the hand pass to Giannakis. And Silcock put down behind play. That was brilliantly taken by Reid. Reid in towards full forward. A good kick. Beautiful kick from Reid. Good lead from Bartlett.
It's a great mark by Bartlett, actually, because he came out and he really committed his body, knowing that the West Perth player was going to take him on, and for him to get down on his knees like that and take it, it was a courageous mark.
So Glenn Bartlett, the league's leading goal kicker. Jamie Murillo.
I don't think I want to say anything about this particular kick, because every time you give these blokes a bit of a boost, they let you down, but Bartlett's certainly capable from that distance.
Well, he can punish West Perth because Cullen should have goaled at the opposite end a moment ago, but he's let them off. And so the two full forwards erring early in this game. Now, the umpire is indicating that William will have to bring the ball back in again because the umpire hadn't finished waving his flag. The kick was intended for Jeps. He's an interesting prospect, Michael Jeps. Now West Perth bring the ball out of the back line up towards centre wing. Sanzoni misses what he should have taken. Gets it back towards the half-forward line. Chance for Hall. Tried to do a little too much. He was surrounded. Sutherland goes in on top of Shane Evans.
A bit unnecessary, actually, jumping in on top where there's already 3 down on the ground.
And we'll have a bounce. Bounce down at left centre wing for East Perth. East Perth 2-1, West Perth a point. Interference in that contest, and it's Dean who will get the free kick. Towards the 50-metre line. Chance for Slade, well picked up. This is Paul Evans playing off centre wing this afternoon, puts it towards that position, but it's chopped off by Host. Host into the centre of the ground where Nelson was unattended, and he's been interfered with. Seymour, the offending player. So Nelson will get the free kick, but that's dangerous play by West Perth, squaring the ball like that. They've done it a couple of times, got away with it both times so far. Elliott has it. The forward's calling for it long and deep.
Gee, that's
that
a
was a
lovely
good
mark.
kick and a good mark. It's been pulled down by Hall.
He shows a lot every time we've seen this lad play, young Derek Hall. He's a fine mover, and I think that he's got a good future, young Derek.
Got a bit of height on their forward line this afternoon, West Perth, with Hall, Cullen, Dean and Duckworth have started down in the forward line also. But they need a goal here, and they've got it. Hall has converted, so West Perth are 1-1, East Perth are 2-1. Good start to this game after East Perth got out quickly. West Perth have steadied in the last couple of minutes. East Perth lead by 6 points at Perth Oval as Nelson gets a second crack at it. Sanzoni goes by hand to accommodate Jeps. Jeps towards centre half forward. Clappe was caught underneath it. Oh, he was pushed in the opinion of the umpire. He had a hand on the back, but I think he committed himself to the leap before that occurred. Now he's kicked into Sutherland. Socket forward by Cullen. Running onto the ball is Duckworth. He can go almost to the square. He's shrugged Rose's tackle, and he's kicked the goal.
It was well done, actually. Very well done by Bill Duckworth. Bit of experience there.
So Bill Duckworth has kicked the Falcons second. They're 2 goals 1. East Perth are 2 goals 1. And it's all tied up at the 9-minute mark of the first quarter at Perth Oval. Good start, Barry.
It is a good start, and I think that, as I said earlier, East Perth got away to a very good start. Looked much more lively, but the last 5 minutes, West Perth have steadied, and they're coming forward. They've certainly got the players in their forward line, but they just haven't been able to get it up there quickly. And when they do, certainly fellas like Duckworth and Cullen and Derek Hall are certainly good enough to put the score on the board.
Nelson wins it down, but it's taken away by East Perth. Giannakis gets it out to Paul Evans, who tried to knock it back to King. Sanzoni was taken high, and he will get the free kick. Hand pass into the centre of the ground to Hasler. Hasler towards the half-forward line. Hall in front of the pack. Kept his balance and his footing well, but Slade is there to tidy up for East Perth. Kicks back towards the centre wing. It wasn't a well-directed kick, although Reid has a chance now. He shovels it out in the direction of a teammate. He went looking for Richardson. It's the player taken high was Baroni, and he gets the free kick. Down towards Seymour, who was pushed into the mark by Jeps, and Ken Seymour takes a good sliding mark right on the 50-metre line. He's indicating he's going to kick it long. That might not quite have the distance. Cleared the 2 players back in the square, but it was offline. And so East Perth back in front by that point. William kicks in short to Nelson. Nelson still back in the back pocket. Gets the ball towards the centre. Hasler is in front. Richardson over the top. It's a good mark.
It's a lovely mark. Well, that knock hasn't done Richardson any harm. He's still getting into the thick of the play.
Richardson from the centre square. Inside 50 metres, Bartlett is the target. Good mark. He might be just too far out to score. He'll be kicking from just outside 50 metres. That's very poor checking by the Falcons. Rose will now shoot from inside 50 metres.
Well, it's a bit poor when you consider that Bartlett isn't a long kick, and I would have assumed that the West Perth players would know that, and then to allow another East Perth player to break clear like that, it's just bad play on West Perth's behalf.
There's Bartlett again.
He's got it again.
Well, again, very lax defence by West Perth. That a player can take a mark in a pack. Well, it wasn't really in the pack, was it? It was almost uncontested.
It was uncontested, actually. He didn't even jump off the ground.
It's not good defensive work by the Falcons as Bartlett attempts to get his first again. And that's a very good kick from a very acute angle by the leading goal scorer. Bartlett gets his first. East Perth get their third. They're 3-2. West Perth 2-1, but that defensive area is going to have to tighten up, Barry.
Yes, they don't look really good when they go down there. Admittedly, East Perth have got somebody like Bartlett who they're always looking for, but knowing that you'd think that the West Perth players would be far more tight. It was interesting that Bartlett's come out, taken an easy mark, short pass, and had time to run down into the 10-yard square, and then just stand there and take an uncontested mark. So there's no question that the West Perth defence will certainly have to tighten up. And it's interesting, Williams playing on him, who's only just come back from an injury, and I think that he'll certainly have to look at his game if they want to stop East Perth and Bartlett for kicking a winning score.
East Perth lead by 7 points. Rose and Nelson. Ineffective ruck play taken by Del Borello, who kicked it straight into Clappe. Chance in there now for West Perth through Elliott. His hand pass wasn't a good one. Baroni gets it wide of the pack. Giannakis drives towards half forward. Chance for Seymour in front. He was spoiled from behind by Jeps. Now Curley. He's kicked that very wide. In fact, it's gone the wrong way. Off in pursuit of it is Higgins. The ball gets across the line before either he or Howlett can get to it. Dangerous clearance there by the West Perth defence. They're under a certain amount of pressure. Seymour and Nelson opposed this time. This is Reid. With him was West. There'll be a throw in just outside East Perth's 50-metre line.
Young Damien Reid, by the way, is quite a good mover around the packs. Probably his only fault is he is inclined to fumble a little bit. If he picked that part of his game up, I think he'd be very good. Seymour
winning a decisive ruck knock this time. West Perth still under pressure back there, but chance now as Jeps picks it up. Kicked back towards the centre of the ground. Hasler is spoilt from behind by Baroni. Baroni somehow or other came out of the pack with the ball. Paul has it, was caught holding it.
A very good tackle.
Played by Paul Evans.
Yes, and he's not a very big fellow either, but he tackled very strongly. Really committed his body to it.
Evans from just inside the centre square puts it down towards Bartlett. He went just a little too early that time, and West Perth had the chance to take it away. Palm sweeps the hand pass out wide. Higgins kicks towards, it's Gwilliam who kicks towards centre wing. Ball to the front of the pack, and Sutherland with him as Moroney. That was intended for Del Borello. He was set up nicely, met solidly by Clappe. Chance for Slade, who went without it. Socket forward by Sutherland, but the wrong way. Reid sockets it inside 50 metres. Murillo has it close to the line. He's content to see it over. And the throw will take place just outside East Perth's 50-metre line. Welcome to our viewers around Western Australia, and welcome to Perth Oval, where East Perth lead by 7 points, and they have the ball in the full forward line. Bartlett was being held, and Glenn Bartlett, who kicked East Perth's last goal, their third goal, has the opportunity now to kick his second from about 25 metres. East Perth started this game in scintillating fashion, 2 goals on the board in the first 3 or 4 minutes. West Perth then clawed their way back by kicking the next 2. Now it would seem that East Perth will kick their second in a row. Bartlett's made no mistake. He's the league's leading goal scorer. He's now got 36 for the season. East Perth moved to 4 goals 2. West Perth are 2 goals 1. We're 15 minutes into the first quarter. With me in commentary this afternoon, Barry Cable and Ken Casellas. And Tanya Armstrong will be joining us at quarter time, with Trevor Jenkins in Melbourne for the West Coast Eagles game. But it has been a good start to this game, Barry.
Yes, it has been. It's been a very good start. East Perth got away really early, looked much sharper, moved the ball much quicker. But then, like you say, West Perth have come back into the game, and then the last few minutes, East Perth have gone away again. So now it'll just depend on West Perth's ability out of the centre of the ground here, get themselves back in the game.
This is King. Hand pass was intended for Seacamp. Chance for West Perth to run the ball forward. West has it. He was run down by Giannakis. Cullen has it now. The West Perth full forward. Hooks back towards the square. That's a good kick. Chance for West Perth back there. It comes down to Silcock. He gets around Duckworth. Oh, got some pretty heavy treatment from Duckworth too. It's on behind play. And now the umpire is going back to sort that out. And it's going to be a West Perth free kick, I suspect.
She was a bit lucky.
He sure was.
He was really lucky.
That was the retaliatory action.
Yeah, he started it, and he ends up getting the free kick.
Yeah, Duckworth initiated that incident. The umpire saw Scott and Seacamp retaliate, and as a result has paid a kick to Bill Duckworth. There's John Scott back in the East Perth side this afternoon. Very difficult kick here for Duckworth, but he's got one already. He's cribbing around, and he now has his second. No, it shaved the post. Much to the delight of the grandstand here at Perth Oval.
Well, I think he was very lucky to get the free kick in the first place.
I agree with you entirely, Barry. As Scott brings the ball back into play, he's looking for Baroni, who was spoilt from behind by Sanzoni. Clappe going in solidly. It was spoilt by Hasler, I'm sorry. Clappe has gone in solidly since the start of this game, but Baroni has the free kick. He's at left half back for East Perth. They lead by 12 points, the Royals. Richardson knocking it to the side of the pack, and Shane Evans. He in turn goes to Paul Evans. And East Perth run the ball forward again. A lot of vacant spaces down in their forward line. Bartlett recovers well, looking for someone to give it to. Howlett was there. There's no one in the square for either team. He goes towards the outer side of the ground where Baroni is doing battle with Del Borello. Gillingham has it, a late inclusion. He hooks towards full forward. Jeps is back there for West Perth, and he puts it through for a point. Well, desperate stuff. And the margin stretches to 13 points again. East Perth had 2 late withdrawals from this team. Dean Turner is out with a calf injury, and Lee Willison was forced to withdraw because of an appendicitis. Now the kick comes back into play and was well directed as Curley gets it up towards the centre half forward position. It's all East Perth up there. Play on was the call. Shane Evans claiming the mark. Clappe goes in on top of an opponent, and we'll have a bounce down at centre half forward for West Perth.
He's trying to say it was his mark, but unfortunately Clappe had it first.
The West Coast Eagles have defeated Richmond in the AFL as Rose wins a decisive ruck knock, but it went straight down to Hasler, I think it was, on the bottom of all that. And now he removes Giannakis most unceremoniously. And there'll be another bounce down, this time midway between the centre of the ground and centre half forward for West Perth. It's 4-3 to 2-1 at Perth Oval. The margin is 14 points as Del Borello kicks the ball to the half forward line, but it's chopped off by Seacamp. Now Clappe has it at right half back for the Royals. No one going towards him. Eventually a player did, but he was able to get it to half forward. No mark paid. Seymour gets the hand pass away, but straight to Nelson. He was claimed by Baroni. Another chance for Seymour. Now King from the 50-metre line towards the goal square. That's gone through for goal. Second goal to Sean King. A very awkward kick. It fooled all players and has gone through for East Perth's 5th goal. They're 5-3, West Perth 2-1, and sometimes a missed kick can be quite fortuitous, Barry.
I think there's sometimes the things that you dread as a back. Now, if you watch this here, Sean King, he didn't quite get onto the ball. It was a pretty ordinary kick in terms of the way it came at, and of course, Williams, unfortunately, just didn't read it right, and it went in for a goal. So they're just the unfortunate things about football. Williams unlucky, but to Sean King, it was a great goal, and East Perth will be very happy with that.
Well, West Perth need to respond here. They're now trailing by 20 points as Curley tries to send them forward. It was a touch ball. Play on was the call. The intended hand pass went in Evans' direction, but has now gone astray as Sutherland drives West Perth forward. Chance for Duckworth back there. He was spoiled from behind by Scott. Silcock has it. Giannakis is running with him if he wants him. He goes wider than that and finds Moroney. Moroney taken by Del Borello. Oh, 50 metres, gee, that's...
Yeah, that was a silly infringement, that. I mean, the fellow already had the mark.
Did you think it was worth 50 metres, though, Barry? I mean, he was going to go, wasn't he?
Of course he was going to go, and the unfortunate part about it is if you interfere with him after he's already got the mark, it was 50 metres. And young Morello should have known that. Young Del Borello.
The kick from Moroney is a good one. It's marked by Bartlett. He's far too far out to score. Puts it back towards full forward in the direction of Seymour. Jeps up over the top. Chance at ground level for Curley. He's a very gifted player, this fellow. He wanted to bounce, which wasn't wise, but Jeps is backing him up. I like the look of Jeps playing at centre-half back this afternoon. The kick to centre-half forward is marked by Duckworth, who clearly pushed his opponent in the back.
Young Derek Hall.
It was Hall, I'm sorry. The umpire has gone to the ground. Play goes on. This is Cullen. Del Borello has it. He can go again by hand, and that's exactly what he's done. Dean from 25 metres should score a goal.
It's a lovely
and
kick.
He has. West Perth strike back. They're 3-1. East Perth are 5-3. 21 minutes gone in the first quarter at Perth Oval, and this has the makings of a very good game.
It is. It's looking really good, and I agree with you. Young Jeps looks really good at centre-half back for West Perth. Long striding player and looks really good. Derek Hall, who he kicked to at centre-half forward, he looks a very good player. And it was just good play all round. There's Hall there taking a lovely mark at centre-half forward for West Perth. And they moved the ball okay, West Perth. It's just that they've got to be able to get the ball up there more often so that they can give these players here an opportunity to get more goals for them.
Nelson wins a good ruck knock, back in the direction of Sanzoni, but Baroni got to it first. His socket kick lands with David Palm. Palm looks towards the members' wing, where Curley is camped under the ball. Well spoiled from behind by Paul Evans. Murillo is running onto it at half-back, close to the boundary line. Got it up in the direction of Higgins. He got rid of Gillingham. Sanzoni at ground level. Gets it to Turley, who was just missed by Baroni. Good hand pass to Hasler. Hasler to centre half forward. West Perth outnumbered back there. Sutherland was the player. Scott has it now. Cool in the crisis. Good kick too. Finds Rose. Rose by hand to King. King through the centre circle. Puts it out wide where Howlett is 25 metres on his own. Away he goes. He's running very wide. He should come back in a more direct line to the goal. It's a good kick. Bartlett at the back. Off the ground by Seymour. Touched.
Again, that was bad play though by West Perth, allowing that East Perth player to get so far out on his own. I mean, he was 25 metres, 30 metres all on his own.
The kick in is a good one from Gwilliam. It's intended for Jeps. He couldn't quite get to it. Now they're in trouble. It wasn't such a good kick. Two East Perth players getting tied up with one another. Moroney has it. Back into the pocket and Seymour. Good mark.
He seems to be able to find space, Seymour. And he's a big fella. He's not over quick, but he always seems to be able to get in the right place at the right time.
Well, if he goals here, West Perth can blame Gwilliam for it. Jeps was providing a very good lead on the outer side of the ground and the kick went astray. That's a good kick from Seymour. East Perth moved to 6-4. West Perth are 3-1.
Well, we certainly have a real good game on our hands, and it's a very entertaining game. And the way that the players are kicking the ball, the only thing is that West Perth look a little bit undisciplined in their defence, because if you can allow fellows like Seymour to get on their own just so easily by 30 metres, admittedly he moves around nicely, he's obviously a good reader of the ball, but West Perth definitely have to tighten up in their defence, and also at the centre bounce. I think they've got to really be able to work hard at getting that ball out of there.
So the margin now is 21 points in favour of the Royals. Giannakis is caught, gets it to Moroney. Slade has it from right centre wing. East Perth get the ball back inside the 50-metre line. Jeps up over the top of Seymour, gets it towards the boundary line. It won't go out. It's still in play, in fact. Palm has it. Hand passes across towards Higgins. Richard Higgins from left half back. Puts it up towards Elliott. Back it goes to Higgins, and West Perth are out of trouble. Beautiful kick from Higgins. Beautiful. And a very strong mark taken out there by West. West from left centre wing. Towards the half-forward line. And Cullen is 25 metres on his own in the West Perth forward line. John Scott is the player who should be marking Cullen.
Looks as though they've copped the disease well down the other end now, because Cullen all on his own by about 30 metres.
Well,
unbelievable.
That fellow get the disease called laryngitis. There goes Cullen, shot at goal. Has he got his first for the afternoon? No, that's a bad miss by Cullen. He's had two relatively easy opportunities to score this afternoon, and George McKeljic wouldn't be happy. West Perth needed a goal there. Rose providing a good lead. From left half-back, puts the Royals down towards their attacking zone. Seymour got an unfortunate bounce. Jeps has it again. A lot of time. Not a particularly good kick. There's West up over the top. Sutherland did it well. The ball knocked away from him. Slade is in there for East Perth. And there's going to be a bounce down on West Perth's 50-metre line.
And thank goodness for Michael Jeps at centre half back. He's been a very strong player for West Perth in the first quarter. 5 kicks already.
Rose gets the ball down. Sutherland knocks it further afield. Moroney will get to it first. There's nothing ahead of him, only Del Borello, and he's wearing the wrong colours. Chance now for Reed, because the kick carried Del Borello. Palmer's there. He's got to get it back to Del Borello, which he did, and he was able to keep Reed at bay, but he took too long, Del Borello, and was claimed by Reed. Richardson runs onto the missed kick. East Perth on the way forward again. Terrible kick from Richardson. Murillo is there for West Perth. Knocked away from Howlett. Murillo comes back again. He's outnumbered 3-1. Gets it out in the direction of Del Borello, who went in on top of an opponent, and it will be a free kick to East Perth to be taken by Baroni. He looks for leads in the pocket. Seymour has got away from his opponent, Jeps, and that's developing into a very interesting duel between Seymour and Jeps. And this time it's Seymour who takes the honours. He will shoot for goal from 50 metres, just outside 50 metres. Would take a very good kick from there. And And that is a very good kick. It'll land on the goal line. It might not have been touched. It was touched right on the line by either Nelson or William. So a near thing or a near miss for East Perth.
It's a lovely mark by Simon, a beautiful kick.
Yes, and on that occasion it was over the top of Host, but Jeps is his opponent. He was just behind him in that passage of play. This is William at full-back for West Perth. Not a good clearing kick. Curley is spoilt from behind. This is Howlett back on goal for East Perth. And that's it. No, it might have been touched also.
Yeah, it was well done again too.
Gee, that's Host again.
There's two goals that could have been kicked by East Perth that were well and truly saved by the West Perth defenders.
Here you see Andrew Host, almost at full stretch, just got there in the nick of time. And now a 50-metre penalty being imposed. There must have been something happening behind the play. And Curley is going to get the free kick, and it'll be taken from the edge of the centre square. He goes towards centre half forward. Hall is spoiled from behind. Del Borello has it. Down in the direction of Duckworth, who judged it best. And Bill Duckworth takes the mark 45 metres out from goal. West Perth need a goal here. They're just losing touch on the scoreboard, despite the fact that they have played very tenaciously through the first 28 minutes of this first quarter. Duckworth. As Reid comes off the ground for East Perth. That's straightening up.
It's a lovely kick.
It's a good kick from Duckworth. He now has his second. He should have got it earlier. And that's a timely goal for West Perth. They move to 4-2. East Perth, I think, are 6-3.
And they needed that goal. There's no question about that. Although it has been a very good game in terms of the players going in extremely hard for the ball. East Perth just seem to be a little bit better balanced across the centre. They're taking it out of there more often, and of course they're doing the damage up in their forward line. But when West Perth do break clear and go forward, they've certainly got the capabilities up in their forward line with fellas like Duckworth, West, but they just can't seem to win out of the centre so easily.
Richardson knocks the ball to centre half forward. Seymour gets it to Moroney. Moroney down in the direction of Bartlett. With him is William. William with superior pace. Oh, but he wanted to do too much and was claimed by Bartlett. And the umpire, the boundary umpire, indicating it went out of bounds on the full.
He was a bit lucky, actually. Could have been quite easily... well, no, he's got the free kick, has he?
Yeah, Bartlett's got the free kick. Could have been holding the ball,
yes,
but he's got it for out of bounds on the full. It goes towards full forward on the siren. And at quarter time, East Perth are 6-6. West Perth are 4-2. The margin is 16 points in favour of the Royals after a very entertaining first term. The goal scorers in the game so far, firstly for East Perth, King and Bartlett both have 2, and Seymour and Gillingham have 1 each. And the goal scorers for West Perth, Duckworth has 2, and Hall and Dean have 1 each. There you see Bill Duckworth, the Falcons' leading goal scorers so far, with 2 goals in that first quarter. Just repeating, if you've only just joined the telecast, that East Perth lost Dean Turner and Lee Willison before the game started. Willison developed an appendicitis and Turner has a calf injury. And then in the pre-game warm-up, Steve Richardson, number 8 in your screen there, collided with a teammate and looked as though he may have even been knocked unconscious for momentarily. But he had to receive treatment from the training staff, the East Perth training staff, before he was able to get back on his feet and actually take his place in the 18. So all sorts of drama here at East Perth, or here at Perth Oval before the start of the game, and plenty of action during that first term. At quarter time, it's East Perth 6-6, West Perth are 4-2. And in the other game, we can't tell you what the score is in the other game. There is no other score on the scoreboard. We can repeat the news, of course, that the West Coast Eagles defeated Richmond rather comfortably, 17-15 to 12-8 in the AFL. So for his comments on that first quarter of football, Barry Cable.
Well, it has been a very entertaining first quarter, and it's been a tough game. Both sides have gone in very hard for the ball. East Perth have been able to win it out of the centre, and I think that's where the strength of East Perth lies at the moment. They certainly have the players across the centre and the ground, and even though Nelson's doing extremely well for West Perth at the centre bounce, it's East Perth players who are actually taking the ball out of the centre. But when West Perth do go forward, they have the players up there in Bill Duckworth, Cullen, Hall. They're certainly all very capable players. They've all kicked a few goals each. But the important thing is that they're really having troubles at the centre bounce, and I think that in the second quarter they'll need to really tighten up and look at that area of the game.
So George McKelgic laying the law down to his charges at quarter time here at Perth Oval. They trail. The margin has now been changed by 15 points at quarter time. We saw some good goals kicked in that first quarter. The first of them came from a young fellow who was a late inclusion in the East Perth side, Bruce Gillingham. So let's have a look at some of the highlights from the first quarter. And from behind Seymour, Gillingham has possession. He was pulled off the hand pass. Reid was helped when he didn't have it. King has it now for East Perth. A high snap towards the goal square. Bartlett from behind knocks it straight down to Richardson. Should be the first score of the game. Well smothered by Nelson. Gillingham with a chance to tidy up, and that is the first goal of the game. And it comes from the boot of young Gillingham, a late inclusion this afternoon. Richardson is able to negotiate Sanzoni and puts it down towards full forward. A chance down there for Gillingham again. He was the first goal scorer in the game. Gets it back to King. King from about 30 metres. That's a good kick from Sean King against his former club. And East Perth have started in very good fashion. Elliott has it. Forwards calling for it long and deep.
Gee, that's
that
a
was a
lovely
good
mark.
kick and a good mark. Been pulled down by Hall. Got a bit of height on their forward line this afternoon, West Perth, with Hall, Cullen, Dean and Duckworth have started down in the forward line also. But they need a goal here, and they've got it. Hall has converted, so West Perth are 1-1, East Perth are 2-1. That's very poor checking by the Falcons. Rose will now shoot from inside 50 metres.
It's just bad play on West Perth's behalf.
There's Bartlett again.
He's got it again.
Well, again, very lax defence by West Perth. That a player can take a mark in a pack. Well, it wasn't really in the pack, was it? It was almost uncontested.
It was uncontested, actually. He didn't even jump off the ground.
It's not good defensive work by the Falcons, as Bartlett attempts to get his first again, and that's a very good kick. Well, Glenn Bartlett now has two here at Perth Oval. It's 6-6 to 4-3. Let's go down to Tanya Armstrong and hear what the coaches had to say at quarter time.
Well, East Perth coach Ian McCulloch wasn't very pleased with that performance. He says it was lacklustre. He wants to see some emotion out there. He says the players are just going through the motions. George McKelgic, West Perth coach, says the players have to get in front and just keep plugging away.
This is Slade for East Perth. Thank you, Tanya, as Slade drives the Royals towards the half-forward line. Bartlett got a tough bounce. Gillingham has it now. He was pushed off it by Palm. Another chance in there. It looks like Miller on the ground. Seymour's hand pass goes out wide. East Perth still in possession. It's Miller again with a chance. Murillo over the ball. Knocks it towards Palm. Palm gets it to West. West looking towards centre wing, but there are no leads on offer. He's had to kick for distance. In comes Moroney. Del Borello wanted to use his boot. Play on as the umpire's call now. He's paid the advantage. A wobbly kick, an awkward kick, but the mark has been taken down there for East Perth. And it's been taken by Howlett. Gavin Howlett looking a little the worse for wear, but if he can kick this goal, I'm sure it will relieve all pain.
Yes, I don't think the pain will worry him too much if he can kick a six-pointer.
Well, this would be a good start to this second quarter for East Perth if he can convert here. West Perth need to be careful that they don't get out of their ground. Not a particularly good kick from Howlett. I think he's missed to the right. He has.
Bit of a let-off for West Perth, I think, there.
And that did nothing for the pain. 6-7 East Perth. West Perth are 4-3 as we wait on William to bring the ball back into play. King Casellas, the leading kick getters or possession getters in that first quarter.
Eric Moroney for East Perth had 7 in the first quarter, 5 to Del Borello, 6 to Bartlett at full forward as Nelson takes a mark and drives West Perth into attack.
It was a good mark too, up towards the half-forward line and Hall. Hall's got sufficient pace to shrug the first tackle, couldn't get away from the second and is penalised. Clappé's called to play on. Kicks back to Rose on centre wing. That was well played by East Perth. They need to get a move on now. Everyone ran away from Rose, left no one on the mark, in towards the half-forward line, and Seymour has taken a good mark. Seymour towards the full-forward position. It's intended for Bartlett, who's caught. And he was then infringing by holding William, but it was not seen. King goes short into the pocket. Gillingham can go back on an open goal. Good hand pass to Bartlett, and a very comfortable, oh, it should have been a comfortable goal. And West Perth get out of jail. Well, Glenn Bartlett got an unfortunate bounce.
Young Slade did try to do the right thing, but unfortunately he couldn't use the handball as well as what he should. There it is there. Now watch it hit the ground here. And of course, Glenn Bartlett's not the greatest ball handler off the ground, of course, and he couldn't quite get there quick enough for the soccer, and it was well done by Palm.
Well, it wasn't a bad bounce that let him down.
No,
He fumbled badly.
Yeah.
So no excuse for East Perth missing that goal. They're now 6-8. West Perth are 4-3 as Hall takes the mark in the centre of the ground. Sutherland is running hard, but they brought it across to the members' side of the ground to give Hasler the run at it. He ran straight into an opponent, could have been penalised. It's with Elliott, well shepherded by Hasler. Back he goes towards goal. They need this West Perth, and they've got it.
He's a nice young mover too, that young Elliott. We've seen him play a few times.
So West Perth get the first goal of the second quarter. They move on to 5-3. East Perth are 6-8, but yes, a very good goal from Elliott.
Yes, he's a very good mover, this boy, and here he is here. You watch him here. Balks comes back to the right and steadies nicely. And he's a very good mover, this young fellow. I think he also has got a good future in the State League.
Once again, Craig Nelson was the man who got West Perth moving on that occasion, Barry.
Yes, oh yeah. Look, if they can win the ball out of the centre a bit more easily, I'm sure they're going to worry East Perth.
There's only 11 points in it now, and East Perth have been penalised at centre half back. The free kick is going to Hasler. So West Perth with the chance to get the ball deep in their forward line again. The big leaper back there was Silcock. But that is Giannac. It's not, it's Scott, I'm sorry, who gets it over the boundary line for the Royals. 6-8 to 5-3. 44 plays 33 at Perth Oval. In the other game, Subiaco lead Claremont 5-2 to 3-3. Boundary thrown at left full forward for West Perth. Baroni knocks it towards Clappe. Giannakis. He was
almost holding the ball then, Wally.
Yes, he was claimed by Duckworth. It was a pretty strong tackle. This bounce down is just inside West Perth's 50-metre line. There you see Bill Duckworth back from Essendon this season. Dean wins the ball down. Hall hooks it over his shoulder. Richardson was called to play on, and Richardson's been taken around the head again. He's having a really tough day, Steve Richardson. Clappe is allowed to play on. Chance now for East Perth. Scott a long way down from full back, could be exposed now as Hasler gets it to Nelson. Nelson in towards full forward, and Sutherland. They needed the mark there, West Perth. It's given East Perth time to get back. Or has it? Cullen, brilliant tackle. Duckworth, another brilliant tackle. Duckworth ties it up, he's holding the ball.
Well done by West Perth, extremely well done.
East Perth take it away. Maroney has it. He looks towards centre wing. King is the target. From behind host. West Perth have the numbers in front of the pack, but Del Borello overran it. King has it now. It was taken solidly from behind by Dean. Slade went without it. West is in there. Threw it out. It was intercepted by Dean. Goes back to Palm. Del Borello. A hectic passage of football. Inside 50 metres for West Perth, but all East Perth there. Seacamp missed the mark. He was well tackled by Elliott. Another chance for West Perth. Cullen was pulled off the ball, and now Elliott has been taken high, and he will get the free kick if he he'll lose it. He'll lose it if he's not careful.
He was lucky.
Elliott kicks short and finds Palm. Maroney coming over the mark. David Palm is 60 metres out from goal. Too far out to score. Wants some movement from his forwards. In fact, goes for distance. Hall at the back. Silcock taps it to Clappe. Clappe towards the outer side of the ground. Shane Evans leads in the race for the ball. Nelson is in pursuit. Evans gets away from Nelson. Has support from Miller. Miller at left half back for East Perth. Kicks to centre wing where Richardson is unattended. West Perth need to tighten up. Good shepherd provided by Paul Evans. He was taken around the throat, I think. He's okay. Seymour has it now at half forward. Down in the direction of Bartlett. Well spoiled from behind by Gwilliam. Chance for Murillo. Oh, he's fumbled badly. West Perth making mistakes back there. Gwilliam has it, gets it to Hasler. Hasler in turn goes further afield, and West will take the ball out of defence for West Perth. Looks to centre wing. Jeps is the target. Seymour came across to meet him. Slade has it. Not sure what to do with it. He's holding the ball.
It was a very good tackle.
Del Borello with the free kick. It's 6-8 to 5-3. 44 plays 33. The time clock hasn't started for this second quarter here at Perth Oval, so that will make things tough towards half-time. Almost a good mark to Seacamp. Well taken by Hall. Back he goes towards full forward. He's a likely mover. Brilliant kick. A great kick from the West Perth centre half forward. And they get just that little bit closer. West Perth are 6-3, East Perth are 6-8, and we've played, I would think, 5 or 6 minutes in this second term.
Oh, it's looking really good at the moment, and West Perth are really putting in. There's no question about that. Winning the ball out in the centre of the ground. Nelson's still doing a sterling job in there. Young West has lifted his rating. Hall at centre-half forward is doing a marvellous job for them, and they're really putting themselves back in the game. And East Perth now, it'll be interesting to see what the test is for East Perth now and see if they can come back at West Perth again.
Approximately 8 minutes into this second quarter here at Perth Oval, and West Perth have kicked the only 2 goals scored in this term, and now they get the advantage of the umpire's whistle again.
They're winning it out of the centre now, and that's making a difference to them.
Del Borello has it. He kicks towards the half-forward line. Good tackle right on Seacamp. That could have been holding the ball. We'll have a bounce down just inside West Perth's 50-metre line. Notice Jamie Wynn is on the ground for West Perth. I didn't see who went off. Here's the tackle again.
That's a lovely tackle.
Applied by Sutherland. Gee, fighting out of his division. That was a strong tackle. Not easy to apply, Barry, are they, those head-on tackles?
And particularly when the fella's a lot bigger than what you are.
You mean me or just anyone?
No, just anyone.
Well, it would have been right on both counts.
Paul Dean's the man off for West Perth.
Thanks, Ken, as King kicks the ball through the centre of the ground. Good kick, but lack direction. And the mark is taken by Host. Host across towards centre-half back and William. Trevor Jenkins had been here, he would have asked how I would know if they're a hard tackle to apply, and that wouldn't have been an unreasonable question either. Host goes to the outer side of the ground looking for Nelson.
Trevor would have ended up with a bruise just watching that.
Nelson towards the half-forward line. Chance out there for Curley for West Perth. Not able to get around Evans. That was brilliantly done by Paul Evans, and now provides a good shepherd to give Richardson possession. As a scuffle goes on behind play, Curley was frustrated. Richardson's kick is to the half-forward line, and Seymour. He kept it in play well also. East Perth have the ball at centre wing. King back inside the 50-metre line. Bartlett is there. Now Gillingham has it. No one in the square. Again for either side. They're charging back there now. That's a good kick. Slade should mark.
Well
Nelson's arms were just too long. Slade, can he shrug? Nelson snaps towards the square. It's a pretty good kick, but Murillo did well. He was giving away a lot of poundage there to Bartlett, but he was able to hold his ground, get his hand to the ball, and force it through for a point.
It was well done by Nelson, though, to stop to spoil young Slade, because it probably would have been a certain goal if he had a mark there.
That's a dangerous kick in. Richardson got there to spoil Del Borello. Maroney gave East Perth the numbers advantage. Baroni back towards centre-half forward, but good mark. Oh, gee,
got to be 50
necessary.
Silly, yeah.
Yep, and it's Higgins who has taken the mark.
I mean, a lot of this stuff, here's another example here. I mean, that's just really silly stuff, that.
Undisciplined play by Howlett.
Without doubt.
And that takes a bit of the pressure off for West Perth. They were defending grimly. They now have the ball in the centre square. Higgins kicks to centre-half forward. Hall up in front. Chance for Sutherland and for Del Borello. Seacamp has it now. Well done through the pack. Evans, this is Shane Evans. Called a kick towards the half-forward line. It's carried Rose. Oh, Miller and Rose both wanted to shepherd. As a result, East Perth have lost the advantage. A beautiful bump by Murillo.
Good bump.
Got rid of Miller. In comes Wynn. He's lost it. Miller's recovered well. Another chance for Wynn for West Perth. Gee, there's heavy body work going on now. That's a poor kick from Wynn. It lacked depth, and Giannakis takes the mark. Comes back to remonstrate with Sutherland. And the umpire is indicating to Giannakis that he was involved in that as much as his opponent was. And he's telling him to go back and take his kick. Higgins up in front. Chance for Sean King. Maroney has it. Took his eyes off the ball at the crucial moment. And we're going to have a throw-in right in front of the members stand here at Perth Oval. 6-9 plays 6-3. East Perth lead by 6 points.
Oh, it's really a good game, and it's really tough. Fair and tough.
Nelson comes in to do the ruck work. Comments from Barry Cable. Rose over the top. Chance for Del Borello. He went the wrong way. King had him cornered. He needed to go back infield. East Perth pushing the ball forward. Rose with front position. Nelson out manoeuvring him. Good knock to the side of the pack. Slade head down, charging the ball. Baroni was in there. West was there also. Another boundary throw in. Things tied up here in front of the grandstand. Neither side prepared to yield. Craig Nelson, Rose behind him. Nelson doing very well. West, Rose picks it up and gets it to Baroni. Baroni, by sleight of hand, was taken high, got it across towards Chalmers, who's on the ground, and there's going to be a report here. It's Elliott. I didn't see what happened. Let's have another look. Oh, I'm not sure how deliberate it was, but certainly he got an elbow. Whether or not malice was a forethought, I'm not sure. He got it in the throat. Seemed to all be in the passage of play to me. What did you think, Barry?
Well, yeah, it's a bit hard to say, but I think the umpire's right. Unfortunately, the elbow did come up, and I'd say that it's fair to say that Baroni's probably run into it, and the umpire can only report on what he sees, and I think that was fair. It was just unlucky. Young Elliott was just unlucky, really.
I think there was a degree of self-defence in it too.
Sure.
I think he was trying to protect himself to a certain extent. Bartlett.
But I'll tell you what, it's a very good game. It is really nice and hard and tough, but the thing about it is fair, and it's a great game to watch, actually.
Bartlett's too strong in the air for Gwilliam. That's his 5th mark.
I guess Gwilliam would be one player that you'd be considering for a position in that state game, which comes up on June the 11th. Barry Cable, of course, the state coach, will wait on Bartlett's kick. It's a good kick. Could this be his 3rd? No, Nelson is there. Palm gets it over the line, and a point results.
Yes, well, we were looking at him today. Actually, it's interesting because he's playing on Bartlett, who's also selected in the 32-man squad, and it was interesting to see how Gwilliam would come up at the moment, but Bartlett's actually beating him, I'd say, in the man-to-man contest at this stage.
Full-back could be something of a problem area, I would think, for you, Barry. Not a lot of big full-backs in the league at the moment.
It is a bit of a problem. We just need to look at every player that we can.
Good mark to Seacamp. Seacamp in towards full forward. Bartlett again, but Nelson dropped into the open space, stood his ground strongly, and he has taken a strong and a courageous mark.
His 6th mark.
Playing very well, Craig Nelson. He's another player who is in the state squad. He kicks towards the centre-half forward position, Clappe. Backing back, he wouldn't have known what was behind him. Del Borello showing great courage also. He was met very solidly by Chalmers. Play goes on, and it's a chance in there for Sanzoni, who's gone out of the game. West Perth need more from him. Del Borello has run down, trying to get the hand pass away to Elliott. It's not Elliott, it's Sutherland. Sutherland's hand pass is chopped off by Shane Evans. Evans to Giannakis. Giannakis is at right half back, but not much on offer. The hand pass has put Chalmers under all sorts of pressure. He was claimed in there by Elliott, who got him over the line. And we're going to have a throw-in on left centre wing for the Falcons. East Perth are 6'10", West Perth are 6'3". 15 minutes into the second quarter now as King has pulled off the ball. Chance for Hasler. This is Giannakis. He went without it. Sutherland in on top of him. And the umpire elects to bounce it down.
There's not much open play at the moment, but that's the way the game's going. They're just playing it really tight and tough, and no one can get a break either way, and it's still a good game to watch because of that.
West Perth have kicked the only 2 goals that have been scored in this quarter. Palm has it now, up to the half-forward line. Charging at the ball was West. He did well to keep it in front of him. He went after Baroni.
Ducked his head for sure, I'd say.
Yeah. And the free kick is going to Baroni. There it is again.
I don't think there was a lot in that one.
No, I don't know what West was supposed to do. He rather than stand aside and let Baroni go through and pick it up. Richardson is doing battle out there effectively. He has the ball and gets the hand pass wide to Evans. Paul Evans playing off left centre wing, puts it down towards King, who should have marked that. Higgins coming across now to tidy up for West Perth. He'll be happy to see that go out.
Interesting thing that Lucio Baroni's had 5 free kicks awarded to him so far today. The umpires are certainly looking after the little East Perth midfielder.
Well, he certainly throws himself in. He gives himself every chance of getting a free kick, but perhaps 1 or 2 of them have been a little fortunate. Evans again, pulled off the hand pass. Chance for Miller. Gets the ball towards centre-half forward, and Richardson, who tried to trap it to his own advantage, but it was chopped off by Palm. Palm's hand pass wasn't a good one. It's with Sanzoni now. He gets it back in the direction of Palm. Palm's hand pass was a poor one. It actually went behind Curley. He got it wide. This is West. West has got to get around Clappe. Oh, Hasler is 25 metres in the clear, and now Cullen is loose. He should have gone to Cullen. Poor football by Hasler. Cullen coming to meet the ball now. Scott has it. He gets it across towards a teammate in Silcock. Silcock comes down towards centre wing. bounce of the ball favoured Reid, but then Murillo came in to tidy up for West Perth. That's an awkward kick. Cullen up in front of the pack. Clappe from behind. Chance for Richardson. Gets it towards Rose. Rose in the centre of the ground. That was a poor hand pass. Put his teammate under pressure. Ineffective football from both teams at the moment. West has it. He almost collided with Nelson. Host goes across to Nelson. Nelson from right half forward gets it towards full forward. An ill-directed kick. And East Perth are able to break it up. Seacamp's hand pass wasn't a good one. Shane Evans is in all sorts of trouble as a result. Clappe there. Evans gets it across to Giannakis. Giannakis through centre-half back for East Perth. Kicks to centre-half forward and King. But some mistakes made by both teams back there in the West Perth forward line. As King plays on quickly in the direction of Bartlett and Seymour. And Seymour once again has got away from Jeps. And he's taken the mark within scoring distance.
That's a 6th mark for Ken Seymour, who's getting on top at centre-half forward.
I was just about to say, I think since he's been shifted there to centre-half forward, he has definitely been able to get on top of young Jeps, which is a good thing for East Perth, because young Jeps, I thought, was playing a great game.
Good kick from Ken Seymour. Brings up East Perth's 7th goal. There's 7-10. West Perth are 6-3, and that's Seymour's 2nd.
There's a lovely mark there by Sean King. But it's Seymour that's definitely given him a little bit of an edge at centre-half forward. And I guess when you have a fellow as good as him who can mark the ball as well as what he does here and breaks away, his lovely lead and mark, well, then it gives them an avenue every time they win the ball out the centre of the ground. And that's still where West Perth are breaking down, as East Perth still seem to be a little bit stronger than them at the centre bounce. And it's just making it a little bit easier for them to go into attack.
Still fairly tight between Subiaco and Clermont. In fact, no change to the score that we gave you earlier. Shane Evans is caught. Slade not able to get his hand onto it. Hasler has it. Gets it to Sanzoni. Sanzoni to West, who went without it. And is then claimed by Paul Evans. That's a good tackle.
It was a very good tackle.
And he's playing very well. Some statistics on Paul Evans, Ken.
Yes, it's his 5th kick and a good one too.
As East Perth move the ball down that outer flank, Clappe kicks inside the 50-metre line and finds Reid. Damien Reid, a Subiaco reject, but a very talented young player. And he's going to shoot for goal from just inside 50 metres. It'll take a good kick from there, but wind not a factor here this afternoon. Ideal conditions. He's pulled that. Oh, badly. Put it out of bounds on the full. 7-10 to 6-3. The margin is 13 points in favour of East Perth. William brings the ball back towards the centre of the ground. Sanzoni knocking it wide. Murillo has it. Hand pass wasn't a good one. The second one was better. And Hasler brings it across the face of the ground for Del Murillo. He's got to get around Maroney to the half-forward line. Elliott and Giannakis. And at the back of the pack, Hall. And a player loose at centre-half forward is Sutherland. Good kick. That's interference. Oh, he appeared to be pulled off the ball in his endeavours to mark. Seacamp brings it away and 2 West Perth players down behind play. The hand pass goes across to Giannakis in the centre of the ground. He puts the ball out wide to accommodate Reid. Evans is also there if he needs him. Murillo and Nelson being left in his wake. Chance for Seymour. Jeps closing on him close to the line. Seymour has kept it in play. Brilliantly done. Reid has it now deep in the pocket. Can he do better this time? Wanted to do a little too much. They're in strife, East Perth, and they're penalised for holding the ball. So persistent defence by West Perth eventually paid off. And they will be able to relieve the pressure with this free kick.
Only the 4th kick for David Palm.
He's been fairly quiet today, or so far anyway, David. He's another fellow, if he can really lift his game, I'm sure he'd be able to give West Perth some inspiration. Umpire calling play to go on as Slade gets it to Seymour. Seymour back towards goal. This is going to go close. It's rushed through by both Nelson and Miller. And another point to East Perth. So despite the fact that they haven't kicked goals, East Perth still forging ahead and just extending their lead slightly. These points are starting to build up. Kick into play from Nelson was a good one. This is Jeps, a very interesting athlete, Michael Jeps. He was the Australian under-20 and under-18 javelin champion in the same year. A very talented athlete who has given track and field away to concentrate on his football. Made a different decision to another very talented West Australian, Dean Capobianco. This is Giannakis. Capobianco electing to go with track and field.
West through the centre of the ground. Kicks towards the half-forward line. Chance down there for Duckworth, but he got an unfortunate bounce. That lets Seacamp in. Seacamp from left half-back. Runs away from Duckworth.
Well chased, actually, by Duckworth. Very well chased.
Well, I've seen players run further than that without being penalised. Hall, good mark. He is a good mark. Very athletic fellow, Derek Hall. And he will shoot for goal from about 35 metres. That's
a lovely mark, and he really does show a good, strong pair of hands.
Mark number 5 this afternoon to Derek Hall.
Fairly acute angle. But West Perth need a goal, and I think he's got them one. He has. They're 7-3. East Perth is 7-11. So West Perth are hanging in there.
They're certainly hanging in there. Now, again, that was a real good play by West Perth. The chase by Duckworth was excellent to be able to put Seacamp under pressure, get the free kick off him, and then, of course, Hall's taken a lovely mark, and there's another beautiful goal by him. And the thing is, West Perth are still in the game. There's no question about that. It's still a nice, hard, tough game. East Perth probably just a little bit on top at the moment, but West Perth just have to continually to keep working hard into the centre bounce.
East Perth by 8 points. Baroni putting them forward. Jep soccering it into the centre of the ground. Hasler was held, and West Perth get the advantage of the free kick. Del Borello providing run off centre wing. He's got away from Baroni. He cuts back towards centre half forward. That was good decisive football by Del Borello, and it's given West Perth a big chance at the back. The mark wasn't paid. Clappe has swung off the hand pass, gets it in the direction of Silcock. Duckworth is off after him. He kicks down towards the half back line, but it's gone out of play under pressure from Duckworth. And the free kick will go the way of Robbie West. He's right out on the right half forward flank. Another goal here to West Perth would really make things interesting. Towards full forward, and the mark is taken by Cullen. Matt Cullen, who's had a lean day. He hasn't kicked a goal as yet. He's had a couple of opportunities. Kicked 6 last week, Cullen.
This might be the right time to kick one.
Well, they need it. They need some reward for their effort. I think he's just missed. 7-11 to 7-4 is the score at Perth Oval as we go into time on in the second quarter. Some of the leading possession getters, Ken.
Well, Del Borello certainly playing well on his wing for West Perth. He's had 11 kicks as Richardson takes another mark. That's his 3rd mark, and kick number 6 to Richardson.
This is Miller. Back towards the centre of the ground. King. They let him get away, West Perth. Miller's hand pass to centre half forward wasn't a good one. Hasler. Baroni. Chance for Del Borello. Oh, gee. Higgins was taken high. He's called a play on. Del Borello. Good kick too from Del Borello. Inside centre half forward. Big leap from Hall, but taken by Silcock. Now there is no one out there where that ball landed. Curley is off in pursuit of it. Rose will get there just after Curley. Well done by Curley. Well tackled late by, I think it was Seacamp who got him. Rose, his hand pass was spoiled. Another chance for West Perth. Win. Back towards full forward. Elliott from the side. Giannakis stood his ground solidly. Cullen has it. He's got the goal. West Perth are in business. West Perth are 8-4. East Perth are 7-11. And it's really on here at Perth Oval now as we're into time on in this second quarter.
You could certainly put that down to perseverance from West Perth, and you'll see him come forward here. And I guess that we were talking about Cullen, although he's put in. Elliott gets the spoil from Giannakis here. And Cullen, he's quite good on the ground for a big man. And it certainly was a great goal by him, and one that he really wanted. And certainly one that West Perth wanted. So they've still got a chance here, even before half-time.
2nd versus 7th at Perth Oval. West Perth 7th on the ladder. And they're going to try and steal the lead in the dying moments of this second quarter. That was Hall over the top of Clappe. But it's picked up by Seacamp. Kicks towards the members' wing, and a good mark is taken by King. King in towards the centre of the ground, too short. Is easily chopped off. Wynn kicks back inside the 50-metre line. There's not a mark. Scott has it. And this is Shane Evans. Down towards centre wing. And Reid gets in front of Murillo to take the mark. Reid from right centre wing. West Perth in front through Higgins. He's playing well on the half-back line. Towards half-forward for West Perth. Almost a good mark for Sutherland, who's played his heart out this afternoon. Wynn chipping it up towards the half-forward line. Brilliantly done by Hall. He gave Clappo the slip, but not a good kick. And the mark is taken by Scott, who's not going to take any rubbish from Bill Duckworth. A bit of experience back there. Now 50 metres going against Duckworth. So John Scott will have the last laugh, and I'm sure he will remind Duckworth of the punchline.
I can't figure out why they give these 50 metres away. I mean, you know, like the free kick's given right on the line, and he's got to kick it 50 metres, and he's virtually gone 100 metres away now.
Scott gets the ball to towards centre half forward. Jepp's up behind Seymour. Rose has it. Evans, Paul Evans, and Reid, who's really giving Murillo something to think about at the moment. Kicks inside centre half forward, and again Higgins drops into the space. What are his statistics, Ken?
Higgins has taken 3 marks this quarter, 4 kicks.
And he finds Nelson. West Perth are actually playing quite well at the moment. Nelson, they're going very wide and making hard work of everything they do, but they're really taking this up to East Perth. Playing with great endeavour. Throw in to take place at right centre wing for West Perth. Time's running out for both teams if they want to get that extra goal before half-time. East Perth lead by a point. Seymour and Nelson knocked forward by Slade. There's the siren. That's half-time at Perth Oval. And East Perth lead by a solitary point. It's 7-11 to 8-4. A most entertaining first half. Let's check the goal scorers. Perhaps before we do that, we can have a look at the situation in the other game where Claremont have now got on top of Subiaco. Not by a great margin, but it's 7-8 to 6-3. The goal scorers very quickly. Firstly, for West Perth, Hall from centre half forward has 3. Duckworth has 2. Elliott, Dean and Cullen have 1 each. The goal scorers for East Perth, 2 each to King, Seymour and Bartlett, and Gillingham has 1. So just 1 point the difference here at Perth Oval at half-time. It's 7-11 to 8-4. East Perth lead by 1 point. Some comments on that first half from Barry Cable.
Well, it's been an excellent first half. I've thoroughly enjoyed the game in terms of the endeavour of both sides. I guess that East Perth shaded West Perth early in the first quarter, then West Perth came back in the second quarter, and both quarters have been very similar. East Perth have taken off early in the quarter, and then West Perth have sort of bridged the gap. The same thing happened in the second quarter where East Perth got away to a good start, and then I thought in the last 10 minutes West Perth played enormous football. In fact, they probably played the best football for the first half so far. And when you look at fellas like Seymour at centre half forward, I thought got on top of Jepp for West Perth. Clappo still doing a very good job on a half-back flank. Richardson is doing extremely well around the ground, and we thought he might struggle after he got knocked out before the game even started. And young Moroney on the other half-back flank is doing a good job. For West Perth, young Jepp started off extremely well, as I said, and Seymour cut him out of the game. But Nelson's still played a very strong game for West Perth, both at centre bounces and around the ground. Sutherland's done a very good job for him. Del Barello has played extremely well. And, of course, young Hall is always very dangerous when West Perth go forward. So, all in all, it's been a very good half. The endeavour of both sides, as I said, is terrific. They're playing it very physically strong and hard, but it's been fair. And at this stage, it's really worthy of a draw. It's 53 to East Perth and 52 to West Perth.
Comments there from Barry Cable. Don't forget our weekly competition, our football viewer competition. And we're giving away grand final passes and football betting vouchers. And 2 more lucky viewers have won prizes this week. We'll be announcing their names at 3/4 time as usual. And all you have to do to enter this competition is send your name and address in to the numbers that you see there. And we draw these tickets at 3/4 time each week. You can also qualify to win the major prize, which is a week's holiday on the Rainbow Coast down in the lower southwest. So we'll be doing all that at 3/4 time. So that's the situation here at Perth Oval. At half-time, East Perth 7-11, 53, lead West Perth 8-4, 52. Just a point in it. We're set for a great second half. We'll take a break from here now to take our news break and to update you with sports news from around Australia. Then we'll be back with the second half of this very exciting game. Welcome back to Perth Oval, where there's just a point the difference at half-time between East Perth and West Perth. East Perth 7-11-53, leading West Perth 8-4-52. And during that second quarter, West Perth outscored East Perth 4-1. Ken Casellas has all the statistics and from that first half and the leading possession getters.
Thanks, Paul. Well, Angelo Del Barello on a wing for West Perth, the nuggety little player he is, has certainly put up a good performance in the first half. 5 kicks in the first quarter, 7 in the second quarter. But Craig Nelson has been the outstanding player in the match in the first half. 7 marks, 10 kicks. He's made 13 effective ruck knockouts and 1 effective hand pass, and he's even finished up kicking the ball in after East Perth have kicked behinds. Eric Maroney, a good first quarter on a wing when he had 7 kicks. He had 2 kicks only when beaten by Del Barello in the second quarter. Sean King broke the shackles in the second quarter with a 5-kick quarter to take his half-time tally to 9. Reed's been a busy forward for East Perth, but his kicking's let him down a bit with his 9 kicks. And Seymour's been a good, strong centre-half forward for East Perth. 6 marks, 8 kicks, 5 effective hand passes. And down the other end of the ground, Derek Hall, also a good centre-half forward performance for West Perth. 5 marks and 8 kicks. Robbie West, 8 kicks roving. Matt Clappe, half-back for East Perth, 8. George Giannakis, a strong game in defence for East Perth. And Bartlett, 5 marks at full forward. And Michael Jeps at centre-half back for West Perth has battled hard with his 7 kicks, opposed to Ken Seymour.
Those statistics from King Casellas. One player that East Perth would like to have out there this afternoon, of course, is the West Coast Eagles player Craig McGrath. He's out with injury at the moment, and here he is talking to Tanya Armstrong.
Craig, I believe you just had an op on your knee.
That's right, Tanya. I had a bit of bone floating around there, so now I've had that cleaned out, and unfortunately it's going to be a few weeks out of action for me.
How long?
Well, we're looking at 3 to 4 weeks, but it sort of depends on how it comes up. So
you'd love to be out in that league team and regaining your place in the West Coast Eagles lineup. Yeah,
it's going to be a long road back. The boys had another good win today, but yeah, I'd love to be out there. But in a way, I'm glad that I've had it done now, so that it's 100% right, and I can get on with playing footy when I come back.
They won their 10th in a row today. What's the possibility of them going through the season undefeated, do you think?
It'd be nice, but I don't think the boys will be looking at that yet. They'll just be looking at a week-by-week basis, I suppose. But it'd be a milestone, wouldn't it?
A tight game today. Only 1 point separates the sides at the moment. Is that a little bit unexpected? Were you expecting an East Perth win?
Well, we expected to be a lot further in front at this stage, but no, West Perth come back very well that quarter, and it's going to be a tight, hard game, as East Perth, West Perth games have always been.
Do you think the Royals may have been a little complacent as they went into the game?
I don't think as they went in. I think at quarter time, the second quarter showed that they may have been, but I think Ian McCulloch certainly would have given the boys a bit of a rev at half time, and I think we can expect to see a different East Perth this second half.
Craig, you've been keeping busy with your accountancy job, and I believe you're also organising a bit of a West Coast Eagles fundraiser. Yes. You wanted to give it a plug.
That's right, Tanya. I've got some tickets here, and there's a show on at the Sundowner Hotel, Saturday, June the 15th. All the West Coast Eagles players live on stage doing things that we can't really say on television. It'll be a really great show, and we'd like to see a lot of people along there.
I hope for a big turnout and a speedy recovery. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Tanya Armstrong talking to Craig McGrath. That sounds as though it's going to be the most interesting, entertaining afternoon down at the Sundowner. And Craig McGrath, of course, one of those players that lends great versatility to both the Eagles and the East Perth lineups when he's fit and available, and he's been a decided acquisition since coming across from Fitzroy. Well, Barry Cable, how's this second half likely to pan out?
Well, it's very hard to say because West Perth have come back at East Perth, and East Perth started off extremely well. I think that it went in 2 quarters, really, like East Perth won early in the first quarter, West Perth came back, same in the second quarter. But the way it's going, I think it's going to be a very even game, and I'd like to think it'll go like this for the next half, and whoever wins, well, they'll certainly deserve it the way both sides have been playing at the moment.
Half-time at East Perth. East Perth 7-11, West Perth 8-4. The margin a solitary point. East Perth kicking to the left of your screen in this third quarter. West Perth outscoring the Royals 4-1 in the second term. East Perth, of course, second on the ladder prior to this game, and West Perth are 7th. as Miller gets the hand pass to Reid, and East Perth are deep into attack in the opening moments of this third quarter. Bartlett down there. William has him cornered. They're calling for it back in the square. Seymour is underneath it. Jeps gets there late. The mark taken by Reid. That was a courageous mark by the little rover. He just got there in front of Seymour. It looked as though the two East Perth players were going to collide, didn't it?
Kept his eye on the ball beautifully.
And Seymour, in fact, playing his role in that mark in that he was able to keep Jeps out of the contest. And now Reid can extend East Perth's lead in the opening minute of this third quarter. He's shooting from about 25 metres out, almost directly in front. This is not the start the Falcons would have wanted. He's got the goal. East Perth's for the game. And East Perth's 8. They're 8-11. West Perth are 8-4. But he is a likely sort of a customer, Damien Reid, isn't he?
Oh, my word, he is. He's very quick, reads the ball extremely well. The only thing I've noticed that's let him down is that he doesn't use the ball as well as what you would expect a little fella to do. But if he can improve that part of his game, I think he'll be an outstanding player. And the way East Perth have started off, now this has been the way the game has gone in that first half. East Perth have taken over and they dominate or do well in the first half of the quarter, and then West Perth come back. So we'll see if it's the same in the third.
Rose winning the ruck knock, got it down towards Miller, who was perhaps fortunate not to be penalised. Curley has it now. Hand pass was intended for West. Giannakis with a chance. Knocked away by West. Richardson taps it towards Reid. Miller has it again. He started the third quarter well. Kicks inside the 50-metre line. Murillo going back, crashing into the pack. Hasler a chance at ground level. West Perth have the numbers out wide. It's William who gets it to Nelson. Nelson relieves the pressure with that spiral punt. Del Borello in pursuit of him as King. Del Borello, not the quickest player, did the right thing. He got boot the ball very quickly. Gillingham has it. His hand pass has gone astray, straight to Del Borello. Hurried kick in the direction of Cullen. Beats him and Scott. Clappe is first back to it. Knocks it out to Silcock, close to the boundary line. And East Perth perhaps could have done better back there. They weren't under a lot of pressure, and they've conceded the throw-in deep in West Perth's attacking area. 30 is Rose, 19 is Dean for West Perth. Rose getting hand to the ball cleanly. Taken by Wynn. His hand pass chopped off by Richardson. Gillingham is the player with the long sleeves, and we'll have a bounce down about 45 metres out from the West Perth goal. West Perth need to get that goal back as quickly as they can. They worked hard through the second quarter to stay in touch. Rose again winning the knock. Clappe gets it wide to Moroney. King is caught under it. Del Borello from behind. Giannakis. He's at right half back. Good kick. This is Reid. Good run through the centre of the ground from Giannakis. This is Miller again. Got out of the tackle but lost his footing at a crucial moment and has now been penalised for holding the ball. West Perth called to play on as Nelson takes it. Terrible kick from Nelson. Terrible. Heavens above. Clappe. Paul had made a good lead. He was 10 metres away from Clappe and he kicked it straight to Clappe. Rose, back to Nelson. Let's see if the big fella can do better this time. Curley. Oh, that's a great tackle too. It was. He didn't realise the player was behind him. Reid is in there. Oh, it's not, it's Baroni, I'm sorry, who's got another free kick. The umpire's friend this afternoon, Lucio Baroni. Hand passes to Giannakis. Giannakis from the centre of the ground towards Bartlett. In front was Seacamp, who's now deep on the forward line. Reid is out there. Del Borello coming down to lend a hand for West Perth, close to the boundary line. And the throw-in will take place just outside East Perth's 50-metre line.
I suppose it's also fair to say with Baroni, at least he does really going hard for the ball, so he probably picks up a few free kicks where other players wouldn't be able to get them.
Nelson and Miller. Miller's hand pass has gone astray. Del Borello. Sutherland is down there on centre wing with Moroney. No mark. The hand pass was well chopped off and East Perth bring it away. Richardson to Rose. Giannakis, who's linking things up well for East Perth now, towards centre half forward. Curley is in a good position to mark. That's Evans. Off to Bartlett, who was unattended. Good football by East Perth. Seacamp and into the square and Slade will kick the goal. Well, a chain of hand passes drew the West Perth players to their opponents. And that created the loose man for East Perth, and Slade was the man on the end of the chain.
I think that's where good skills come in. East Perth were able to win the ball. They never made a mistake. They shot out 3 handballs, drew the opponent towards them, and they got an easy one over to Slade in the 10-yard square, and it was an easy goal. And that's the good thing of having excellent skills either by hand or foot, because you can really punish the opposition when you do get a break into the clear.
So what was a very tight situation at half-time has suddenly broken apart to some extent. The lead now is 13 points in East Perth's favour.
It was a good mark. He never took his eyes off the ball, didn't know what was coming from behind young Sutherland, and it was an excellent mark.
If there was little the defender could do to stop.
Oh no, he wasn't in the wrong, but at the same time, this fellow here, he did a marvellous job by him to just keep his eyes on the ball, probably knowing somebody was there. And if he finishes off with a goal, it'll be a really worthy mark.
Well, West Perth need a goal here, and that's a good kick from Sutherland. He's had a good afternoon, and he gets West Perth's 9th. They're 9-4. East Perth are 9-11, and the margin is 7 points. Brian Sutherland's statistics, Kim.
Well, actually, he didn't get a kick in the second quarter, but he
had a very good afternoon, hasn't he?
He went into the game strongly on a few occasions in the second quarter. There he is kicking the goal, but he had 4 kicks in a good first quarter. He didn't get a kick in the second quarter, and he didn't have much luck, and that's his first kick for the third term, and West Perth's 9th goal.
I'll have a sneak look before I make any further comments. 9-11 to 9-4.
We all make mistakes, well.
Some of us make more than others, Barry. Curley got an unfavourable bounce. Reed went without it. Palm has it. He was trying to get it further afield, and he's been awarded a free kick. And he hand passed it. The tackle must have lingered. Post hand pass. I'm not sure of the wisdom of that. It was a poor hand pass.
Look at East Perth on a break here now.
Giannakis brilliantly tackled by Nelson, and that's tied things up. Shane Evans is caught holding the ball. That was well done by Nelson.
That was good work.
As Barry Cable indicated, it seemed that West Perth were going to be exposed behind play, but Nelson was the player that prevented that situation from developing. Now Maroney has it on the half-back line for East Perth. Giannakis unattended. West Perth have got to do something about Giannakis. In towards the centre-half forward position. Seymour up too early, and the relieving mark has been taken by Palm.
Actually, that was lovely judgment, because he's much shorter than Seymour, so it was a pretty ordinary kick ready to Seymour.
It was an ordinary kick from Palm to Sutherland. Gillingham gets the advantage of the bounce. On it goes to Reed, who still has time to go back and pick it up, get it back towards Gillingham. They're making a mess of this East Perth. The second time in a couple of minutes that they've had good scoring opportunities, and they've not been able to capitalise. Once through Craig Nelson's endeavour, they're on that occasion through their own mistakes.
Ray Scott, the former champion West Perth full forward.
And a leading umpire in his time here in what was in those days the WAFL.
I thought he was a terrific umpire, Wally. He gave me quite a few first votes.
The ball towards centre-half forward, where Wynn has taken the mark for West Perth. He thought about going. Now he does go. Cullen on a lead. Good kick, good lead.
The pattern's starting to look that way again, you know, like East Perth got the break, and here comes West Perth again now.
West Perth need goals from this fellow. He looks the part. He leads strongly. He can take a good mark, and he kicks the ball over long distances.
And he kick it straight?
Well, on occasions has kicked a bag full of goals. I'm not going to make a prediction, Barry, are you?
I won't, but it's a lovely shot.
Cullen's got his second, and the West Perth are right back to within a point again. It's 10-4 to 9-11. East Perth lead by a point.
Oh, it's been an excellent game again, and the third quarter looks as though it's going to be no different to the first and the second, where it's a very tight game. West Perth again, they let East Perth get away early, but now they've kicked the last 2 goals, and they've put themselves back in the game. Nelson's the man for West Perth. If he can continue to dominate in the centre, well, obviously that's going to give West Perth a great chance, because East Perth little men are the ones who seem to be doing more damage at ground level at centre bounces.
Out thinking of bygone days as he saw the West Perth full forward kicking goals there, Ray Scott. The ball goes down towards full forward for East Perth, where Bartlett was well spoilt by Gwilliam, but still some work to be done by the West Perth defenders. Maroney has it now. He's hemmed in the pocket, gets it back towards the top of the square, and Seymour. Slade went without it. He's given another chance. Seymour reaching in for the ball. Palm appeared to be held. Now he's holding the ball, but we're going to have a bounce about 35, 40 metres out from East Perth's goal. Now West Perth don't want to concede an easy goal here. They've worked hard to get back to within a point again. We're 10 minutes into this third quarter. Nelson not favoured by that bounce.
It's a great knock by Reid, the little rover.
And holding the ball decision going against East Perth, and it's taken by Host. This is Jeps. Away he goes from half-back with Bartlett in pursuit. He let Bartlett do all the running and then got the hand pass to Hasler. That ground is obviously fairly soft. Players are having trouble bouncing it. Hasler gets a good kick to the half-forward line. Clappe up in front of Hall. Gillingham has it. He was pushed in the back. Bruce Gillingham from right half-back. Kicked the first goal of the game. Now back in defence. King spoiled out there by Del Borello, who's worked very hard this afternoon.
He's had 16 kicks, Wally.
Got one right. How many effective as a matter of interest, Ken?
6 to a teammate.
6 out of 16, probably not an acceptable percentage. This is Richardson. Shane Evans forced to knock it back to King. East Perth had the numbers here, but they were set up, and an East Perth player down behind play. As East Perth get the ball on the half-forward line, and now West Perth bring it away. Curley coming right across the half-back line. It's not Curley. The hand pass coming. Oh, gee.
Lucky's got plenty of room.
Evans, I don't know that he has, Barry.
No.
They're under pressure back there. This is Higgins. Sutherland has it now. Sutherland will look towards Curley. Brilliantly smothered by Gillingham, who's obviously playing a tagging role. Kicks the back towards half-forward. Seymour smothered it well. Gets it towards Seacamp, who could have been infringed. Wynn has it. Now Nelson. Back it goes to Higgins. And West Perth will get out of strife. For how long, I'm not sure. Duckworth was up, put a good tackle on Evans. Close to the line. Silcox happy to see it over. And the throw-in will take place midway between left centre wing and left half-forward. That's Reid, who was injured for East Perth. I didn't see what happened.
I just copped a front-on hit, and he was just a bit unlucky, really.
Evans off the ground. Gives Sutherland a chance. Towards the centre wing. Slade got in front. Clappe has it. Now Richardson. Good kick. Well weighted. Giannakis. He's had some possessions in this third quarter, Ken.
Yes, 2 marks, 6 kicks and 1 unaffected hand pass then.
Inspirational football by David Palm, and West Perth are on the way forward. Hall has it at centre half forward. Chance for Duckworth back there. He'll contest the mark. They need something at ground level. Slade leads in the race for the ball. West is in pursuit. Cullen. There's no one in the square. The ball bouncing towards goal. Just rolled away. West Perth needed to kick on end over end again. Now Duckworth is in a fight back in the goal square. Clappe gets it to Moroney. And Duckworth is winning decisively. He's applied a body slam, and that's 50 metres. That was unnecessary, and in fact it's a report. I'm not sure about that, but it was a very dangerous thing to do.
Brian Sutherland was the man.
Giannakis had taken the mark.
Yeah, there was no need.
It was very late, and it was head high. I don't know if it was reportable, but certainly it was worth 50 metres.
I mean, in his defence, he was in the air, but there was no need for him to put his elbow where he did. So it is a bit hard when a player's running like that and you already commit yourself and you jump into the air. It's very difficult.
Well, jumping at the head, I don't know if that's necessary. Now the 50-metre penalty is being applied. So West Perth and Sutherland haven't come out of this too well.
And with only a point the difference in this match, Wally.
But I would support that decision.
Umpire Cronje, right on the scene.
And Giannakis now has the ball just outside 50 metres. In fact, he'll kick from almost on the 50-metre line. It won't quite have the distance. Big punch from behind by Gwilliam, and Jeps clears for West Perth. A terrible kick, missed kick completely, and they're outnumbered out there, West Perth. Baroni has it, now Richardson. The East Perth link men are starting to get into this game. Giannakis off, brilliantly well done by Palm. He's called to play on. He's penalised for holding the ball. And the East Perth crowd becoming very vocal. It's not a big crowd, but it's a noisy one. Del Borello There's a little bit of spirit and feeling in this game now, and a few mistakes. Both teams making them. Higgins was being held, and he's going to get the free kick. West Perth need to respond to this situation. They don't want to concede the next goal. Giannakis has it. They're the team that have done all the work, and they trail by a point. And that could be a free kick also. No, it is a free kick, but Giannakis this time has been penalised for holding the ball. The umpire indicating that he was in possession here. It should be 50 metres against Giannakis. The free kick is with Dean. Marked by Hasler. He'll go across the top to Sutherland. Through centre half forward go the Falcons. Cullen was the target. Ooh, gee, that was Duckworth, I think. He's inflicted a little bit of pain this afternoon, and now he's received some. Chance for Hall, close to the boundary line, well picked up. Not sure who that was intended for. Cullen got an unfortunate bounce. Richardson goes by hand to Silcock, and Silcock kicks it straight to Palm. East Perth still by a point. 17 minutes gone in this third quarter. Short kick is a good one. Win. He waited before he played on. Oh, that was lucky. Sanzoni has it just outside 50 metres. It's a good kick. Duckworth must get the kick for interference, if not the mark. And Bill Duckworth, who kicked a couple of early goals but has been quiet since, has the chance to give West Perth the lead. Peter Managlio in the coach's box, the West Perth coach's box, assisting George McKeljic, and Duckworth has his third. West Perth are in front by 5 points at the 17-minute mark of the third quarter. Well, there's a bit of feeling in it now, Barry.
Oh, gee, I'll say there is, and there's been some very good football and still some tough stuff. And this one here, you'll see Duckworth there, holds his ground, keeps his eye on the ball. May have been a little bit lucky, but at the same time, he was there first, and he was in the right position and has kicked the goal to put West Perth in front. And I think they've deserved to be in front at this stage. East Perth are certainly not out of the game. They've sort of led for most of the way, and I think it's just really getting down to what side's just going to keep on battling it out to the end. And on that, but all players from both sides must be feeling a little bit sore too at the moment.
The ball ricochets from Richardson to Giannakis to half forward, and Seymour takes the mark. Oh, Sanzoni ran across the mark. That was silly football, and that will put Seymour to within about 10 or 15 metres of goal. Well, West Perth worked so hard to get in front, and then for an elementary mistake like that to be made, that will probably result in a goal, and West Perth relinquishing the lead must be terribly demoralising. Seymour from directly in front puts East Perth back in front, and that is Ken Seymour's third goal for the game. How can a player make a mistake like that at any level of senior football?
Well, I've been saying this regularly on the show, that I just can't understand how players can just give away a silly 50 men. I call them silly because to me there's just no point in it. And there's just another glaring example there where West Perth have worked so hard to get themselves in front. A free kick, 50 metres.
There it is again. Goal. Let's have a look at it. Now, he will argue...
run right across in front.
Yeah, he will argue that he'd played on, but the player hasn't played on until the umpire has indicated that he has. And so that was really was a bad mistake by Sanzoni. And that can really take the wind out of a team's sails. Let's see how West Perth respond. Giannakis again was run down, pushed in the back in the opinion of the umpire. A mistake like that can just change the trend of the game. Maroney has it now, kicks to the half-forward line. Seymour again. He wants to go. He was too far out to score. It was a missed kick. Curley in all sorts of strife. It's gone astray. Reed back on an open goal. I don't think he's missed.
That's what I was saying about his skills, unfortunately. He's just not, if he could just polish up, I mean, he read it beautifully, then picked it up nicely, but unfortunately he just can't finish off his work, which is a bit of a disappointment.
West Perth need to regain their composure here. William at full back. Looks for Nelson. Rose is right behind him. Reed claimed by Jeffs. Rose again. Was held when he didn't have it. Gavin Rose will get the free kick inside 50 metres. No one's sure where the mark is. In fact, no one is standing it. Now Murillo takes it. Clappe has run from half back to half forward to offer a lead. Got a bit more hair than his dad, Jamie Murillo.
I think he'd run faster with a haircut.
Gavin Rose has kicked a good goal for East Perth. They move to 11-12. West Perth are 11-4. 8 points is the margin at the 21-minute mark of the third quarter after West Perth had wrested the lead from East Perth momentarily. There's Rose, young man with a fair amount of talent. And he was the last goal scorer. The leading goal scorer for East Perth is Seymour with 3. For West Perth, both Hall and Duckworth have 3. And Rose gets his fist to the ball first. Reid has it again in the centre. Giannakis to centre half forward, and Seymour. The umpire's whistle went and there was a relay kick. Seymour took the mark anyway, but Giannakis was put down by Curley after he kicked the ball. So this is a very crucial part of the game for West Perth. East Perth have the run of the ball. That's a magnificent kick from Seymour.
Beautiful.
He's kicked that more than 50 metres to bring up his fourth and extend East Perth's lead to 14 points. So a crucial time now for West Perth, Barry.
Well, it is, because in the first half, as I was saying earlier, that West Perth have come back towards the end of each quarter. But at the moment, it looks like East Perth are going to go away with it. And as you just said, West Perth will really want to tighten up. But at the same time, it's East Perth who are still dominating the centre of the ground. Nelson's winning the ball, but East Perth can clearly get it out of there. And Giannakis was able to get that ball out again. And their little fellas are much better at ground level here at the centre of the ground.
Yes,
here they come again.
Giannakis, Baroni, Miller, Richardson, those types of players are the ones that are getting the possessions in the centre of the ground for East Perth. As West Perth go forward, it was well taken by Hall. Hall down in the direction of Duckworth, who charged the ball, which was good football, but he got a difficult bounce. Now Shane Evans swings it across to Maroney, and East Perth can set something up again. Reid is loose up on centre wing. He's another player who's done good things in this third quarter. Paul Evans was held when he didn't have it. Now this is Nelson. Nelson back to the half-forward line. Duckworth is away from his opponent, Silcock, and will get the run of the ball. Back goes Duckworth. He's about 45 metres from goal and closing. I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do. He needed something at the top of the square, and no one offered him anything. Perhaps he had no option, but it wasn't good forward play by West Perth. Rose now goes to Maroney. Maroney in turn goes to Slade, who took his eyes off the ball but has time. He's at half back and gets it on to Shane Evans. He can go to Paul Evans. Had time, gets his kick in the nick of time. Down to the half-forward line in Gillingham. He trapped that well and was then held when he didn't have it. He's been forced to earn this kick. Oh! Well, it could have been a kick for a push perhaps, but in fact it was for a high tackle. Curley and Maroney get mixed up, and the umpire comes in to try and sort things out. Now, I'm not sure what he's going to decide out of this. No, it's Seymour who's been penalised.
Yeah, Seymour gave the free kick away.
And Jets will get the free kick.
Again, East Perth had the free kick. There was no need for Seymour to throw the West Perth player down. They could have still had possession of the ball.
Michael Jets playing at centre half back this afternoon for East Perth. Only a young player, and he moves very well. He's got his hands full. He's had a very tough afternoon at centre half back on Seymour, but he looks to be a player of some potential. Sanzoni has the mark. He thought about going. West Perth have got to get a goal. We're almost into time on in this third quarter. Good kick. And Cullen, he's fairly deep in the pocket, has the chance to get that goal that West Perth so badly need. And one of the worrying things about West Perth's play this afternoon, they've worked so hard to stay in touch and have then surrendered the lead through elementary mistakes. Good kick from Cullen, though.
That's a lovely goal.
Oh, that was a good kick. And that's West Perth's 12th. They're 12-4. East Perth are 12-12, so the margin is 8 points.
Well, they're certainly not giving it away, West Perth, and they're coming back again. And as we said before, if they can get it up there quickly into their forward line, a fellow like Cullen, Duckworth and Hall, and they showed it again then when they get it up there quickly enough. Hall is excellent overhead, Duckworth strong enough, and so is Cullen, but unfortunately they haven't had the same opportunities as the East Perth forwards, and West Perth have still got to work hard enough here at the centre bounce and get that ball out and give their forwards the opportunity.
Time on in the third quarter here at Perth Oval. Giannakis, chance for Reid. Now Host with an opportunity for West Perth. Had support from Palm. They're not out of trouble yet, West Perth. Host has it again. That was well done. Sanzoni in towards centre half forward. Cullen in the middle of the pack. Almost took the mark too. Touch ball was the call. Scott has it. That was Shane Evans, who appeared to be pushed in the back. Giannakis got it to Clappe, who wouldn't really want to know about it. Slade has it to centre half forward. Seymour from behind. Nelson in front. He's strong, Craig Nelson. Bullocking the ball forward. Split the pack. Gave West Perth a chance. Win to centre half forward and Sanzoni. And a player loose at centre half forward is West. And another one. Not a good kick, but Sutherland has it. He had to go back for it. But there was a lot of open space on the West Perth forward line. Barry Cable saw it all.
Well, it was good movement. I mean, young West could see that West Perth had control of the ball, and he made ground extremely well. And then, of course, Sutherland, seeing West was going to get the ball, he made ground as well. So West Perth do look good when they go for it. It's just that they just don't get the same opportunities at this stage as East Perth do.
2 points is the margin at Perth Oval. Sutherland has kicked truly. He's got his second. And again, West Perth come back at the Royals. They really have been resilient this afternoon, West Perth. They've got behind on numerous occasions. In fact, a couple of times they've looked as though they're getting out of their depth, but they refuse to lie down, perhaps playing for their football lives to some extent here this afternoon, with only 2 wins to their credit so far this season. They need to beat teams above themselves if they're to challenge for a place in the top 5, and this is one of those teams that is above them. 12-12 to 13-4. The margin is 2 points. Rose and Nelson. Rose getting his fist to the ball, but West Perth with a chance to take it away. Not favoured by the bounce. Giannakis again. Gee, he's getting the ball out of the centre with monotonous regularity. Hasler, I'm not sure whether he should have taken that. He was surrounded. Murillo threw it out. The umpire couldn't see from where he was. Reed down towards the half-forward line. Coming out to meet the ball strongly, the West Perth defence. Hurried kick by Wynn will land with Palm. David Palm's had a much better third quarter than he had a first half.
4 marks to Palm in this third quarter, Wal.
Statistics from Ken Casellas. We're well into time on in the third quarter. East Perth lead by 2 points. Hall caught behind. Shane Evans knocks it down to his own advantage and runs away from Dean. Down in the direction of Seacamp. And again, East Perth in a position to kick the retaliatory goal.
Let's reflect on the performance of George Giannakis in the third quarter. He's taken 3 marks and he's had 12 kicks in this quarter.
Well, they've got Sanzoni on him at the moment. I'm not sure who had him earlier in the quarter. That's missed to the right. So the margin is 3 points, and it could well be that will be the margin at three-quarter time. Marcus Seacamp, who started the game in the East Perth defence, now playing in the forward line. Nelson is the target.
He's played a great game, Craig Nelson.
9 marks. And the man who was on Giannakis at the start of the quarter was Robbie West.
Now, Michael Jepps is in trouble behind play. I think he's got cramp. So West Perth can't afford to concede the ball here as Hall gets it to Curley. Now, Curley is a highly skilled footballer. He's just outside 50 metres, drives towards Duckworth in the square. A mark here would be important to West Perth. Duckworth again, trying to get it out to Del Borello. East Perth tying it up. This is Maroney. Hall has it. Now Dean. West Perth with the numbers back there. Cullen. Could have been a free kick. That's the way the umpire's seen it. I'm not sure that it was, but certainly players went back on him. We'll have another look at it. But Cullen, who has also had a better third quarter than he had a first half, we might have been a little bit lucky. Barry, what do you think?
Well, he could have been at the initial one, but if you looked at the end there, Evans definitely has come over the top of his shoulder. So if he's played it for that, well, then obviously he gets a free kick.
31 minutes gone in the third quarter. A goal here to Matt Cullen will give West Perth the lead for only the second time in the game. The first time was earlier in this quarter. A great fight back by the Falcons. They're 14-4. East Perth at 12-13, and we're set for a really classical last quarter.
There's some good movement here, and you'll see what this is what the game's been about all day. Really struggling, working hard, Hall's in there for West Perth, gets the ball onto his boot. Now Dean, quick snapshot, and of course Cullen sets himself here. And he might there now. You'll see Evans come down there over the top of the shoulder, and certainly that could have easily been played as a free kick, which it was.
West Perth have kicked 7 goals straight since they kicked their last behind.
They've kicked 6 goals in this third quarter. East Perth have kicked 5, and the Falcons lead by 3 points. Host has been awarded the free kick in the centre of the ground.
This is the first time West Perth have got it out cleanly.
Yes, and it's been a long third quarter. There can't be much time remaining. It's West showing a fair degree of courage. Evans takes the boundary umpire out. It comes to Miller. Miller kicks short to the half-forward line, and Reid will take the mark. East Perth need to move quickly, and they've done that. Miller has it again. Now West Perth need to block the avenues off. Oh, William, unfortunate. It must have almost been a mark, actually. Dean, West Perth on the way forward again. Nelson has to wait for it. They need a quick kick. He gives them that. Up towards Cullen again. Sutherland is there. That was well done by Scott. Shane Evans has it, half back. His kick is intended for the boundary line, and it has found it. West Perth defending doggedly at the moment, trying to hang on to this 3-point lead. If they can go in at three-quarter time with their noses in front, they'll have plenty to play for in the last quarter. Nelson to the side of the pack of West. And that goes to within scoring distance, and Cullen's taken the mark. But Cullen, I've forgotten how many he had at half-time. I think it was only 1. He's now got 4. Yes, he had 1 at half-time. King Casellas confirming that fact. So he's kicked 3 so far in this third quarter. And there's the siren. Cullen will shoot for his 4th for the term after the siren. And this to give West Perth a 9-point lead at three-quarter time. He's got it. He just sneaked that through. Now that was a brilliant third quarter by West Perth. They moved to 15-4 at three-quarter time, and they lead East Perth, who are 12-13. Well, what a game it's been. On numerous occasions, it's looked as though East Perth have been going to run away or break the game open, but each time West Perth have come back at them, and they've been able to do that very effectively in the third quarter, to the point that they're now 9 points in front. Let's check the leading goal scorers in the game. Firstly, for West Perth, Cullen has 5. He kicked 4, as I said, in the third term. Then 3 each to Duckworth and Hall. 2 goals to Sutherland, who is on report, and 1 each to Elliott, who is also on report, and Paul Dean. The main goal scorer for East Perth has been Seymour from centre-half forward with 4, 2 each to King and Bartlett, and then 1 each to Slade, Reid, Rose and Gillingham. A quick comment from Barry Cable as we look at the scores from the other ground, where Claremont are now on top of Subiaco, 12-10 to 9-4.
Well, really the trend of the game hasn't really changed, in the sense that it's been a great game. Both sides have been really playing it very hard, and as we saw again in that third quarter, East Perth started off the quarter extremely well, kicked 2 goals before West Perth got going again. They've also been, I think, winning quite comfortably out of the centre of the ground, but West Perth have been making it up by working extremely hard around the ground. I think they've made it hard for their forwards early, but towards that last 10 minutes of the third quarter, fellas like Cullen and Hall have had the opportunity, Duckworth, to get marks, because West Perth came down the ground quickly, kicked the ball long, and they gave them a one-on-one. And of course Cullen has shown that very well by kicking 4 goals. So at this stage I'd say that West Perth are certainly running on well. Cullen's given them a big lift, Duckworth, Sutherland is still doing well, Hall at centre-half forward, and of course the best man on the ground, in my opinion, still at this stage is Craig Nelson. He's been really given enormous drive. Giannakis has given East Perth enormous drive out the centre of the ground in that third quarter. Fellas like Moroney are still playing well. Seymour at centre-half forward still doing a very good job. Richardson around the ground. But at the moment it's just a really great game, and I think that West Perth certainly deserve the lead they have at this stage.
And that lead is 9 points. Comments and best players there from Barry Cable. Time to look now at our weekly competition, and time also to announce the winners of this week's competition. And they are John Ottaway from Forestfield, he's our Metropolitan winner, and Colin Broadwith from Kununurra is our country winner. And I hope things are a little warmer up in Kununurra, Colin, than they are down here this afternoon. Well, it hasn't rained, it's certainly very dark and a little gloomy. Congratulations to both John Ottaway and Colin Broadwith. the WAFL will be in contact with both of you during the course of the week. John and Colin's names were drawn from the hundreds who phoned last weekend, so don't forget you can phone right up until noon on Monday if you would like to enter our viewers' competition. They both win double passes to the 1991 Grand Final and a Footo betting vouchers, and they go into the end of season draw for a week's holiday for two at Albany on the Rainbow Coast. And they also have the opportunity to become VIP guests at this year's Grand Final, which includes a chicken and champagne breakfast, a limousine to the ground, lunch with the WAFL, and the best seats in the house for the big game. So there's the numbers. You saw the numbers for city and country viewers, and as I said, you have until noon on Monday to register your name, and by this time next Saturday we could be announcing you as a weekly winner of our viewers competition. West Perth lead East Perth by 9 points at Perth Oval, and the East Perth coach is having plenty to say, Big Ian McCulloch, as you would imagine he would. But let's get some statistics so far in the game from Ken Casellas.
Thanks, Wally. Well, Barry Cable said that Craig Nelson was clearly the best man on the ground, and I can only agree 100%. And let's reflect on the last few moments of that quarter when there was a boundary throw in in front of the members' grandstand. It was a magnificent ruck knock from Nelson to Robbie West. Leading out to take the mark was Matt Cullen, and Cullen kicked the goal to put West Perth a further 6 points in front of their opponents at three-quarter time. And Nelson's played a stupendous game with 9 marks, 16 kicks, 16 effective ruck knockouts and 2 effective hand passes. George Giannakis had a tremendous quarter playing on the ball for East Perth in the third term. He took 3 marks in that quarter. He had 12 kicks, and at the moment he's the leading kick getter on the field. 5 marks and 20 kicks and 4 hand passes to George Giannakis. Other principal kick getters, 16 to Angelo Del Barello on a wing for West Perth. 13 kicks to Damien Reid for East Perth. 14 to Eric Moroney for East Perth. Ken Seymour, East Perth centre-half forward, 8 marks and 11 kicks. Derek Hall at centre-half forward for West Perth, 6 marks, 11 kicks. Matt Cullen at full forward, 5 and 11, and 8 kicks to Jamie Gwynn, who's played well in the last 2 quarters.
Statistics there from Ken Casellas. Don't forget the state game on June the 11th. WA plays South Australia. That's Tuesday afternoon at Subiaco Oval. If you're a pensioner or you're unemployed or under 15, the WA Football Commission has decided it will be your lucky day and you can get in free, so that's good news for Trevor Jenkins. Can WA beat the Crow Eaters for the first time since 1986? It's Barry Cable's big job to reverse that trend as state coach.
Well, we hope we can. I'm sure that we can, and it'll be a great game, and I just hope that we get as many people there as possible.
Tanya Armstrong's on the boundary line. Let's get some comments from her on what the coaches had to say.
Well, I was at the East Perth huddle for most of that break. Not only did Ian McCulloch have his say, but also runner Wayne Duke and assistant coach Dean Turner. Ian McCulloch, when he did start to talk, said he was embarrassed to be behind West Perth on their home ground. He said they don't lose home games and they have to go out and win this quarter. George McKelgic in the West Perth huddle applauded their 7-goal performance when they came in, and he says, get to the fall of the football and we can win this game.
Thanks, Tanya. I'm sure it would have been an interesting place for a young lady to be. The East Perth huddle at three-quarter time this afternoon. Nelson tries to get the Falcons forward. The first goal is going to be important here. In fact, the first few will be, I guess, but another goal to West Perth would really set this game up. That's Paul Evans fighting tigerishly in the centre, taken by Dean, sweeps the hand pass to Jeps. Jeps puts it out in front of West. Jeps coming back, appeared to be held, play allowed to go on. No easy kicks at the moment. West again gets it to Jeps, around the pack he goes, hand passes to Hasler. Another chance in there, this time for a win for West Perth. He eludes the tackle, or shakes the tackle, back towards full forward. East Perth under pressure here. The mark almost taken by Duckworth. It's tidied up by Rose. Good hand pass out in front of Miller, and he has a player ahead of the game. That's Baroni. Baroni is at left half back, looks down towards centre wing. Not a lot on offer now. Goes beyond centre wing, intended for King, but a poor kick. And Host takes the relieving mark for West Perth. This game has lifted in status and tempo since quarter time. Murillo took a long time and was brought down as he kicked. Appeared to be winded, getting to his feet very slowly. Wynn has it for West Perth. Into vacant territory at centre half forward. Curley got a tough bounce, then got a beautiful bounce and should goal. West Perth are 15 points in front. Well, Curley was thwarted by the first bounce, but it came back and landed in his arms when he thought he had lost it. And he has kicked the goal, a telling goal for West Perth, and now it's really on.
Is this the changing of the game now? Because in the last 3 quarters, it's always been East Perth that's attacked early and have been able to kick the first few goals. Now it's West Perth. Now, it might be interesting. This could be the whole changing of the game here. West Perth might just really gone with this last quarter. That was good play, by the way.
16-4 to 12-13. That's brilliant kicking at goal by West Perth. What's that, about 8 or 9 without a behind, Ken?
9 straight without a behind.
And that is what kept them in the game during that third quarter when they looked like losing touch. And now it's set up a situation where West Perth could cause a major upset. 16-4 to 12-13, 15 points the margin. Del Borello, Seymour. Solid passage of play in there with boots flying. Del Borello knocked off it. West gets it back to Higgins. Higgins' kick isn't a good one. Gives Seacamp a chance. Well, he was well tackled, holding the ball.
It's a great tackle, it really was. It was a very good tackle.
Could have been 50 metres against Slade too. He didn't give it back on the full. Vacant spaces on the West Perth forward line, and Sanzoni has the mark.
It's an obvious 50 metres. You're not allowed to handle the ball back to the player like that.
Towards the goal square, almost the mark back there to Clappe, and a goal to West Perth through Sutherland. He threaded that through the pack. The West Perth are running hot. Well, now the onus is right on East Perth. I think we've been expecting East Perth to respond, but it just hasn't come so far.
No, that's a lovely mark there, although I must say he did take his eyes off the ball just at the end, but he ended up getting the free kick and making good position here. And you'll see West Perth here really scramble on the ground here. This has been their play all day. When it comes to ground, Clappe was a bit unlucky not to receive a free kick there, by the way, for the mark. And young Sutherland, very good on the ground.
So this is a decisive break now as far as West Perth are concerned, and they realise they can win the game. They really have lifted their standard of play.
They're a lot more desperate in this middle of the ground too.
The ball thumped forward by Bartlett, who's now been brought up to play on the ball. Evans went without it. Post sockets it to his own advantage. He's being called on by Jeps, who's providing a good shepherd behind play. Host drives the ball back towards full forward. Sutherland unattended. East Perth are in disarray. West Perth have persisted and persisted since quarter time, and now they're being rewarded. They've got the run of the ball, and their game is coming together.
But this is the first time, Walter, we've seen them take complete charge in the middle of the ground, getting it away from the centre, and they look extremely good when they're doing that now.
Ryan Sutherland for his fourth, and what could well be a match-winning lead for West Perth. They move to 18 goals for. East Perth at 12-13. So East Perth have still had, 7 more scoring shots, and they find themselves well in arrears.
Yeah, this is good play again by West Perth. I like the way they're really fighting it out, winning the ball out the centre. Here's another kick, and here's Sutherland again, the elusive Pimpernel, I suppose we can say, in the last 5 minutes, where he's just always been on his own, and he's kicked the last 2 goals for West Perth, and they're looking really good.
East Perth need to respond, and they need to respond immediately. They really are dragging their feet now. We're only 6 minutes into this final quarter, and West Perth well and truly on top. East Perth get the ball to the half-forward line. Richardson did that well. Seymour comes to meet it. Reid beats him for it, and Gillingham offers the lead. Good use of the ball by Reid that time.
That was an excellent kick.
27 points is the margin. Bartlett streaming down into the pocket, but Nelson goes across to check that lead. And so Gillingham shoots from about 45 metres. Has it got the distance? No. It was punched on the line. Well, they needed a goal. Seacamp is off, and Maroney is back on for East Perth. As William brings the ball back into play, the target is Hasler. Good support from West. Sanzoni goes across and provides a good shepherd, but Maroney, an unfortunate bounce. And East Perth really have lost the thread of this game now. Slade knocking it away from Wynn. Clappe's hand pass goes back to Slade. That was touched off the boot. Hasler, close to the boundary line, was allowed to get out of that situation. East Perth came back strongly, and that would be a free kick to Miller, I would think.
East Perth really need a young fellow like Miller to fire in that last quarter. He's pushed and dragged and right over the back and deserved that free kick.
Gillingham, but taken by Murillo, sweeps the hand pass onto the half-back line. Sutherland up towards centre wing. West was in front. Dean picks it up. Sanzoni is loose in the centre. He was 20 metres or 10 metres behind Giannakis. Rose will be first back to this. but he's got no one to kick it to. He'll have to go to the boundary. Curley is will be the first player to get to it. They needed a little bit more on that kick, East Perth, and now it's with Duckworth. He's at right half forward. He knows that time is on West Perth's side, so steadied things up as Jeps comes off the ground. He had cramp, and he will be replaced by Green. And this is Cullen, who missed the mark. Good umpiring. The umpire could easily have anticipated that he would have held that. He's found Sanzoni. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Nelson's the target. He perhaps could have got a free kick. Bartlett crashing into him. Hasler, got that. Reed. Well, East Perth making all the mistakes. No, not all of the mistakes. Higgins was the one who made the second one for West Perth. King has gone without it. Was pushed in the back. Sean King. Yep. Chalmers has it. Chalmers is at right half forward. East Perth just need to steady. There's still plenty of time. We're only at the 9-minute mark of the final quarter. In the direction of Seymour. Scott now on the forward line. Great kick. They needed that. So the game is still alive. 13-14 East Perth. West Perth are 18-4. That's a margin of 21 points.
Oh, the game is still very much alive, and this goal here is going to make it even more alive. And East Perth certainly, they won't throw the towel in at this stage. They can still get back at West Perth, but West Perth just have to realise now that they've just got to give it everything they have, which they're doing. And East Perth, to get back into the game, must get the ball out of the centre and give their forwards an opportunity to score some quick goals. If they don't do that, it's obviously going to make it a lot easier for West Perth to hang on to the lead they already have.
Number of scoring shots at Subiaco Oval would suggest that Claremont have dominated that game, but they're not all that far in front. 14-14 to 11-6. Another bounce down in the centre here at Perth Oval. East Perth led by 15 points at quarter time, 1 point at half time. They were 9 points down at three-quarter time after being as much as 14 or 15 points up at one stage in that third quarter. And now they find themselves 21 points in arrears. Make that 22, but it could have been worse. Sanzoni clipping the post.
It's going to take East Perth. It's going to take a big effort, I think, to get East Perth back in front here, even though we've still got a fair way to go, because West Perth look really desperate at the moment.
This is West, and Sutherland, who has cut East Perth to ribbons in the middle stages of the third quarter, and now the last quarter, has a shot for goal. And if he was to kick this one, it'd take a good kick, but it would be his fifth.
He's been everywhere in the last quarter. No one's playing on him.
Cullen over the top. That was Duckworth. He's missed.
This is a good effort.
Some statistics, Ken, so far in this final term.
Well, Brian Sutherland, after having 5 kicks in the third quarter, has had 4 already in the final term, and he's certainly on fire. And another player in this last quarter, apart from Sutherland, is Sanzoni's had 3 kicks.
So they're two of the players that have really got West Perth rolling in this term, as Baroni takes the mark out on the half-back line, gets the hand pass away to Evans. That's Paul Evans. He kicks down towards the half-forward line, and Seymour up from behind Green. He's not able to take the mark, and the throw-in will take place almost down on East Perth's left half-forward flank.
And Jamie Wynn has also done well in this quarter. He's had 4 kicks in the final term, and he looks like a likely type.
22 points is the margin here at Perth Oval. Nelson winning the ball to the side of the pack and Wynn. He's outnumbered, as you can see. This is Miller, claimed by Palm. Another chance for Wynn. He's happy to take it out. Oh, he's penalised for holding the ball, but I think he was over the line. Giannakis has the free kick from left centre wing. Seymour in front, good mark. And they need more of that from the big fellow. This is intended for Scott, and he might just get there. Good mark by Scott.
Now he's the oldest player playing for East Perth, and he's just come back from Claremont. He's already kicked a goal a few minutes ago, and this could be another one here that'll be enormous inspiration for East Perth. When you consider he's probably the oldest player playing for East Perth, it'll be a great effort by him.
That's a good kick from Scott. So the margin now is 16 points. And East Perth starting to come back, as West Perth have done throughout the afternoon. This was a good mark, in fact.
It was a great mark, this one here. I mean, he really was desperate there.
And it completes a pretty bad afternoon for Gwilliam, who's certainly had his hands full at full-back all day.
Gillingham is coming off the ground, and Seacamp will go back on, which gives East Perth a little bit more height and marking power.
And
we're going
pace.
to say in their forward line, but Seacamp's gone straight to the back line. So 18-6 to 14-14 is the score. West Perth lead. The margin is just 16 points, and that leaves Murillo loose in defence for West Perth. Bartlett doing the ruck work, but it was won by Nelson. East Perth move it forward. Richardson has it. He's in all sorts of strife. Dispossessed by Dean. Dean to the half-forward line for West Perth. Rose over the top, but it ricochets down towards Hall. Hall's hand pass wasn't a good one, but Sanzoni knocks it further forward for West Perth. Clappe running on. Oh, Clappe was taken out solidly by Cullen, I think it was. He's having trouble getting to his feet. That really was a shirt front. Up towards centre wing, and Giannakis has the mark. Rose is in trouble behind play also. He's winded. Across to the centre of the ground, and Richardson out wide to Maroney. East Perth mounting a challenge. It's an important challenge. Maroney pushed off the kick by Higgins. Was good football. Palm sockets it back towards centre wing. Curley is in front. Players starting to look very tired and weary on both sides. Curley taps it out to the advantage of Higgins. He spun straight into trouble. Curley again, he's caught. Play on is the call, and that's good umpiring.
Very
the
good
umpire eventually elects to bounce it down.
I thought that was excellent umpiring. That, I mean, the game is tough and hard and it's fair, and I thought there was a couple of excellent decisions there.
Rose and Clappe are both back on their feet. Shane Evans being run down by Green. Pulled off the kick. Chance for Duckworth. Claimed by Silcock. It was a good tackle. Knocked forward, I think it was by Higgins. It's a long way down the ground if it was. Cullen indicating they need a ruckman. "15 minutes have elapsed in this final term at Perth Oval. Anxious faces on both sides. Wynn close to the line, Slade with him, and that would be a free kick to Wynn. He's going to go backward of the play to Palm, and Palm, who could have gone forward, is content to hold things up. A bit too early to be playing for time. Had he played on, he would have been within kicking distance, I think. Cullen up in the centre of the pack, knocked away by Silcock, but straight to Del Borello. Another chance for Cullen. He's got it.
I'll tell you what, he's kicked it.
That's his 6th goal. He got 6 last week, and he's done it again today. And he has stretched West Perth's lead back to 22 points.
This was a very high kick by David Palm, but it gave everyone a chance here. But the good thing about Cullen is he's good on the ground for a big fellow. Well, you'll see where he comes through here and he picks it up off the ground, which is very good. It's definitely an advantage. A beautiful right foot snapshot, and West Perth go further ahead.
And 12 goals straight in a remarkable performance of accurate kicking by West Perth.
Incredible kicking. I think Cullen was another Subiaco reject.
He was. There's 3 of them here playing, 2 for East Perth and 1 for West Perth.
19-6 to 14-14. It'll take some heroics from East Perth to win this now. Curley gets the hand pass to Hall. He took his eyes off the ball. Clappe a chance to tidy up. But West Perth want every ball, and they want it badly now. Wynn was prepared to come across and put himself into that contest. And eventually it's flipped out by Seacamp. He's been penalised for putting it out of bounds deliberately. So East Perth really feeling the pressure here. And it's getting very dark. Wynn from left half forward. Knocked away by Silcock. King has it. Now Baroni. Not too many leads on offer. It's intended for Richardson. Palm is off after him. Brilliantly done by David Palm. Danger for East Perth. Palm just didn't quite have the pace to get away from Richardson. They're both at the extent of their fitness at the moment, I think.
She's been a tough game. She's been hard.
Miller ties it up. with Hasler, and it slipped out of Hasler's grasp. That was the correct decision. Miller, in fact, had the ball and Hasler. 22 points and 18 minutes have gone as East Perth try and take it away from the half-back line. Moroney and Miller went without it. West has it. Brilliantly caught by Evans. Now Palm right back to the goal line. Hall not able to mark. Slade is caught. Hall has it again. He's almost 50 metres out from goal. Well done. Hasler, not a renowned goal kicker.
I think he would have been better handballing it off there. He had a couple of opportunities.
Well, it took him a couple of minutes to work out exactly where the goals were. 23 points is the margin. Seacamp realises the urgency of the situation. That was brilliantly done out there by Palm, but it comes back to Miller. Shane Evans has it at centre wing. Now they need a goal out of this thrust forward, East Perth, if they're to have any chance, but Higgins goes up to take the relieving mark. Sutherland is loose on the outer side of the ground.
Gee, he's been on his own all this last quarter. He just seems to be miles away from anyone.
Telling kick to the half-forward line. Duckworth was in front. Silcock from behind. He'll earn this kick, you can bet. Moroney, infield to Evans. Bartlett has a chance. Reed was well picked up by Higgins, who turned straight into trouble. So the free kick will go to Bartlett. He's kicked only 2 this afternoon. He won't get his 3rd from there. Nelson at the back. Seymour is after him. Del Borello. Tough one for Hasler. Almost a good mark to Richardson. And Moroney is off and Gillingham on. Richardson caught in a very awkward position there and just not able to move. Taken by Del Borello. Now East Perth have the numbers here if Clappe can get clean possession. Oh, he tried to do too much. Rose has it. Taken by Host. Clappe needed support from Rose, or he needed to give it to Rose, one of the two. Duckworth goes to Curley. Curley down in the direction of Cullen. Seacamp has the run of the ball. Shane Evans is calling for it at half-back. Seacamp's decided to do something inspirational, I think. Down to Miller. Host is getting there and gets there effectively. West Perth 19-7, East Perth 14-14. 21 minutes now gone in the final quarter at Perth Oval. Seymour and Nelson. Nelson with a decisive ruck knock to Palm. Good hand pass to Curley. He's got better as the game has progressed, as most West Perth players have. Cullen.
This man here has made a big difference to West Perth. I mean, when the wall wasn't going down there quickly enough, he was out of all sorts. But since they've been coming down there, they've been looking for him. He looks a different player, and he's really changed the whole West Perth team around since half-time.
And that was Todd Curley's 5th kick for the final term, that unerring pass to full forward Matt Cullen.
Cullen lining up for his 7th. West Perth's 20th. Heaven help the first West Perth player to kick a point.
I think the other good thing about it is you get a fellow like Cullen who can kick goals, and he kicks them well. It gives the other players a lot of confidence down the field to kick to him. So the last 2 weeks he's kicked, 6, and today he's kicked 7 so far. So he's going to be a real leading light for West Perth and really give them something to look forward to. 29 points the margin, Barry. Have they done enough? I think they personally have. I mean, the way the game's going, I can't see East Perth getting back at them now, because West Perth are even playing more desperately than they've played all day. It's been a performance full of character as far as West Perth are concerned this afternoon. On numerous occasions, they look as though they've been going to get out of their depth. Each time they came back, and now they've got themselves he's actually stole it off the East Perth player.
This is Wynn towards Cullen again. And why wouldn't you? He has 7. Right. Duckworth to Sutherland. Sutherland took his time and kicks his 5th. He's another one. He's played a great game, and since half-time, and particularly in this last quarter, he seems to be just running everywhere. No one's actually picking him up at all, and he's having a birthday. Well, it's going to be how far West Perth now. If there was any doubt before that kick, there's none now.
He roved the ball so well, young Sutherland. That's a lovely goal.
And 14 straight.
That's West Perth's goal tally. They've kicked 14 in a row without kicking a behind or a point. 21-7, 21 goals from 28 scoring shots is remarkably accurate kicking. Hasler, taken by Chalmers. Back towards centre half forward and Richardson. Good mark.
Gee.
He's had a tough afternoon, hasn't he?
He certainly has, even before the game started.
Yeah, collided with a teammate in the warm-up and was down on the ground for some time before the game started. Then he got taken high very early in the game. And he copped another one then. But this is John Scott.
I suppose this is interesting. Scott's possibly their oldest player, and they've brought him back from Claremont. And really in the last quarter, he's been their star player in the forward line, because if he kicks this will be his third. And so I suppose one could say that that's one of the reasons why East Perth are going to find it very difficult to get back into this game if they've got to rely upon John Scott. Not to say that John can't hold his own, because he can. He's kicked 3 goals. He's done a marvellous job for him.
Yes, but that's too little too late, I think, as far as East Perth are concerned. 24 minutes have now gone. No change to the scoreboard at Subiaco Oval. Claremont look to be in control there. It's 21-7 to 15-14 at Perth Oval. 29 points the margin. Gavin Rose and Craig Nelson. Neither player winning an effective ruck knock, but Rose did well. Gets it to Evans. That's Shane Evans, and it comes back to him. Shane and Paul Evans in this side this afternoon. He's run a long way.
He's lucky to get away with that.
Wasn't he ever? We saw a player pulled up for a shorter distance than that earlier in the game as Higgins kicks the ball to the outer side of the ground, and it's vacant, unallotted territory out there. That's Palm. He knew he had Curley ahead of the play. And now Hasler. Good kick. He's got good balance and poise, young Curley. Good skills. Hasler from right centre wing. In towards centre half forward and Duckworth. That one slipped through Sutherland's fingers, but little else has in this last quarter. And we'll have a bounce down on West Perth's half forward line.
6 kicks in the last quarter to Todd Curley. Been a very damaging player on the outer wing.
I would have thought most of them have been effective, Ken.
Yes, he's delivered the ball with great precision.
21-7 to 15-14. West Perth's best performance of the season so far, I would think, given the fact that they were behind for the first 2.5 quarters. This is Miller. King. The tempo has gone out of the game now as we go into time on in the final quarter here at Perth Oval. West Perth have this game sewn up. Richardson has it. East Perth launching a belated challenge, but Nelson has been a tower of strength all day today, and from a state team point of view, you must be impressed with him, Barry.
Oh, very impressed, and I can also see why he's on top with the Magic Nissan Player of the Year. He's also well in front of that, and I think after today he's going to even go further in front.
He's going to get a high tally of votes this afternoon, I'd say, with his 10 marks, 16 kicks, 23 effective ruck knockouts and 3 effective hand passes.
Yeah, he's done a marvellous job, and he'd certainly be looking forward to playing in the state game the way he's going at the moment.
It's incredible, isn't it? 23 effective ruck knockouts, and yet West Perth had so much trouble getting the ball out of the centre in the early part of the game, despite his dominance.
Yes, well, that's where they were good early, East Perth, right up to the 3rd quarter. I thought that whilst Nelson was winning the actual tap ruck, East Perth were winning the ball out of the centre, but in this particular quarter, West Perth have done much better at ground level.
And he's still going too, Wally. Nelson, you'd think he'd have a rest, wouldn't you?
Throwing it left full forward for East Perth. Yes, he's tireless. Palm gets the ball wide to Wynn. Wynn towards centre wing. It's all East Perth, and Rose takes the mark. Rose between lines. Kicks towards centre half forward at Seymour. Dean was up alongside him. No mark paid. Dean comes out of the pack with the ball. West Perth swing it wide to the members' side of the ground. Del Barello and Chalmers.
Jamie Wynn keeps on getting a lot of the football. He's had 9 kicks in the last quarter. 17 for the match.
Seymour winning that ruck knock. And conceding the free kick. Perhaps he was a little unlucky. Elson with the kick towards centre half forward. Sutherland up high, and he's been paid the mark. He's had a mixed afternoon, Brian Sutherland. He's played an outstanding game, and this is a great capture, but he's also on report. Cullen.
He's given him a big lift, this fella, in the forward line, particularly since half-time. He's done a marvellous job for them.
Well, I've always felt he had the potential to kick a swag of goals. He really leads well. He runs hard at the ball, takes a very good mark and kicks over long distances, but he's had trouble putting his games together consistently. But 6 last week, and
tell you what, that's a lovely goal.
8 so far this afternoon suggests that Matt Cullen is starting to fulfil his potential. Now, hang on, maybe that goal is not going to stand. Duckworth.
Don't tell me it's a silly kick. There you go. See, there's another example of a silly free kick. I mean, Cullen's got the free kick for West Perth, more than capable of kicking a goal. Somebody's given away a free kick.
Yeah, and I think it must have been Bill Duckworth, judging by the way he's remonstrating with the umpire.
They're the sort of things that make coaches go grey.
Well, Matt Cullen wouldn't be impressed either. Statistics play an important role in a full forward's life, as Higgins can't get there to spoil Richardson. East Perth rebounding quickly towards full forward, and Bartlett has taken the mark. Glenn Bartlett will shoot from about 30 metres out.
Here it is here now. There it is there. Very strong mark by Bartlett.
In opposition to Trevor Green. So Bartlett, the league's leading goal scorer before this afternoon, with 34, lines up for what would be his 3rd. He'll tidy things up on the scoreboard a little bit for East Perth, if he can get it, and he has. They're 16-14, West Perth 21-7. So East Perth, in fact, have still had more scoring shots than West Perth, but find themselves well in arrears.
Well, it was interesting, wasn't it? I mean, Cullen had the mark, went back, certain goal. Free kicks changed hands, gone down the other end, and now East Perth have kicked a goal. So it's probably worth 2 goals to East Perth.
George McKelgic wants more, but he would be very happy with the way his players have performed here this afternoon.
Yes, he shouldn't have such a worried look on his face at this stage of the game. I think West Perth have got it wrapped up.
There's the siren. West Perth have caused something of an upset here at Perth Oval. They have defeated East Perth, who are second on the ladder, or who were second on the ladder, 21-7, 133 to 16-14, 110. The margin 23 points in favour of the Falcons. Good performance by West Perth, because they were behind for 2.5 quarters. So they've shown plenty of resilience here this afternoon, and that won't do their spirit any harm as far as the rest of the season is concerned. And in the other game, it would seem that Claremont has defeated Subiaco 14-13 to 11-8 is the last score that we had from Subiaco Oval. So let's quickly check the goal scorers in this game at Perth Oval. And there you can see a group of delighted West Perth players and officials, including their coach, George McKelgic. Matt Cullen was the leading goal scorer in the game, the West Perth full forward. He kicked 7 this afternoon. In fact, he kicked 8, but the last one was disallowed after Bill Duckworth gave away a free kick for an incident in the goal square. So he'll be credited with 7. Sutherland has kicked 5. Duckworth and Hall kicked 3 each, and then singles to Curley, Elliott and Dean. The main goal scorer for East Perth was Seymour with 4, Bartlett kicked 3, Scott kicked 3, and 1 each to Dillingham, Rose, Reed and Slade, and Sean King kicked 2. You can see the West Perth, a delighted group of West Perth supporters, players.